Good morning to most, good afternoon to others, and good evening to the viewing audience across the pond. I'm your host, Jason Miles, here for another episode of This is Revolution Podcast. If you're new to the channel, thank you so much for taking the time to check us out. If you are a returning listener, subscriber, or one of our very valued patrons, so glad to have you back. I want to thank everyone that made it to movie night on Thursday after our main show with Vivek Cheber. After an illuminating discussion of what the PMC is, how it functions, and how we should approach trying to build a strong cross-class coalition, some of you joined me for a dark but introspective movie night. We watched the 2023 film Magazine Dreams, starring Jonathan Majors, who played a character crippled by anger, alienation, and mental illness. The replay of movie night is up for all patrons that missed it live. It was a great post-movie talk as well, and I have to admit, it is the post-movie clarity, hearing your thoughts on what we watched, that I enjoy most about movie night. We will be having another one soon, so stay tuned for that announcement. Also, it seems that post the Kirk shooting, left content is being suppressed in the almighty algorithm.
We're coming for you now.
Oh, if you do enjoy this and want more people to see it, share, and if you're watching this on YouTube, hype this channel and this show in particular. Let's do our part to fight the algorithmic overlords. If you do appreciate the programming on TIR and want to be a part of our movie nights and more, become a patron for as little as $3 a month or $30 for the year. You can have access to champagne rooms past and present. Join us for our movie night watch parties, and of course, so much more. Now, let's get to why you people are here in the first place. Hurricane Katrina. 20 years ago, in late August of 2005, a devastating storm wreaked havoc on the Gulf Coast. Hurricane Katrina became one of the deadliest natural disasters in United States history. But it wasn't just nature that destroyed New Orleans. Neoliberalism did more lasting damage than the storm itself. An already vulnerable levee system collapsed under the weight of 10 inches of rain, leaving large portions of the city submerged. While many residents evacuated before the storm, tens of thousands stayed behind. With nearly 80% of the city underwater, relief efforts became extremely difficult. Iconic images from those days remain seared into memory. People stranded on rooftops, chaotic rescues, and mass looting by those who feared they had been left to perish. On national television during a fundraising event for Katrina relief, the now maligned rapper Kanye West made his infamous unscripted declaration, "George Bush doesn't care about black people." His words gave voice to what many already understood. Katrina was not only a natural disaster, but also a political and racial one, exposing deep systemic inequities. For many, Katrina was remembered as the product of corruption, mismanagement, and systemic racism that left more than 250,000 people displaced, most of them black. But our guest today urges us to see Katrina through another lens, not simply as disaster followed by racism, but as an exercise in capitalist disaster management. New Orleans became a testing ground for a neoliberal takeover, marking the end of New Deal era democracy and a descent into free market hellscape. In the storm's aftermath, over 7,000 teachers were fired as the city converted to the nation's first all-charter system. Though the school system has since shifted to a hybrid model, only a fraction of those teachers who had been vital to the city's community fabric ever returned. Housing policy followed the same trajectory: redevelopment that excluded the poor and working class in favor of attracting a more affluent, gentrifying population. The story of Katrina has been repeated across the country, yet many continue to see these outcomes not as warning signs, but as progress. Similar patterns can be seen in Southern California, where massive fires destroying more than 200,000 acres from Los Angeles to San Diego County paved the way for rebuilding that catered to wealthier residents, displacing many poor and working class families. Today, we're joined by Professor Cedric Johnson and Megan French-Marcelin as we revisit what really happened in New Orleans 20 years ago, beyond the storm itself. But before we bring in our guests, let me introduce my co-host, my homie, my dog. He is the man of the Mau Mau Hour. He is the Pascal Robert.
Peace and greetings to the chat. Peace and greetings to the audience. Peace and greetings, Jason Miles.
Are you ready for the show today?
Ready to rock and roll.
All right. And she is the voice of reason on this show, M. Tucson.
Hello, hello. I just want to put in a quick plug for Thursday's show, Who is the PMC with Vivek Chibber. I think it was a good one, and I recommend it.
There you go. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Were you on that show?
Yes.
Is that why you're plugging it?
I feel bad. I made a joke about him being from Delhi, and I think I did a racism. I'm sorry, publicly, Mr. Reverend Dr. Vivek Chibber.
The whole thing is you're supposed to offset Pascalinize racism.
I know, and then I just jumped in head first.
And you
made fun of him being from Delhi. Did you tell me?
I made a Delhi joke very early on.
What sandwiches did he make? Is that what you did?
Damn! You can't double down on it. Let's bring in our guests before they lose tenure.
Yes.
Jesus. Please welcome a returning guest, a big reason why this show exists with the people that are on the screen. Please welcome Cedric Johnson. Look at Ced, he's mad.
Glad to be here as always,
And for the first time, the co-author of this very, I don't know the right word to say.
Illuminating?
I was going to say that, but I wanted to find a better word. Please welcome Megan Marcelin.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you guys for being here. Looking back 20 years, what do you see as the most misunderstood aspects of Hurricane Katrina and its aftermath?
Wow. I don't know. Megan, you want me to go?
I was going to say ladies first.
No. Age before beauty.
Oh, damn.
Wow. Shots fired.
Damn.
All right, if I must. Yeah, so there's so many misunderstandings or, misrepresentations of it. There's also the problem of amnesia, right? So many people don't even remember what happened at this point. But I think the biggest problem, and one that we try to address in the double issue of Non-Sight, is the overwhelming power that racial justice narratives took, during the initial disaster, but certainly in the years after, right? This became the primary way of framing what happened, who were the primary victims, who was responsible, what forces in American society were responsible for the disaster. And it just really conflated so many different things. And so we were hoping that by pulling together this greatest hits of sorts of the last 20 years of Katrina writing, that we could clarify what some of the more fundamental motives may have been for the disaster. The other thing I'd say related to that, there was a piece that was written in The Nation by Michael Denzel Smith called The Rebirth of Black Rage, where he kind of makes this argument that for millennials, the Katrina disaster was the beginning of their political maturation, right? It was a moment where so many people witnessed something that they thought was unthinkable. And he kind of makes the case that the Katrina disaster sets the stage for the Obama election, the kinds of anti-eviction campaigns, and the framing of the subprime mortgage crisis as primarily an event or phenomenon that affected working class Black people, and especially working class Black women who were first-time homeowners. And he also, of course, draws the line to Black Lives Matter, right? And I think there's something to that. He's saying it in a favorable way, right? He's basically arguing that this is the origin story of Black Lives Matter. And if it is, it's a problem, right? Because as an origin story, it actually gets the fundamental dynamics of Katrina completely wrong. It misrepresents who the primary victims were, which were working class Black people, and also older Americans, older New Orleanians were disproportionately affected people with disabilities, right? People who were institutionalized, either in
Mhm.
incarcerated or those who were in assisted living or nursing homes, people who were hospitalized. They were the ones who really bore the brunt of the disaster and who had a much more difficult time recovering in the years after, because there was no specialized treatment for those categories, right? If anything, they were, whatever they felt was antagonistic, they were in an antagonistic position with government, which mainly favored property owners in the months and years after the initial flood.
And I know this has got to be personal for you. Definitely reading your piece brought me back to my time in the city. I came after
Mhm.
the disaster, probably like a year or so after. So it was still fresh in a lot of people's minds. I did, for those that don't know, I worked in the Gulf of Mexico on
Mhm.
oil rigs. So I actually got to meet people, which there was the first time I'd ever even heard someone say something like this, where they had to come out of retirement because they lost their home during the storm,
Right.
and they used some of the non-state approved contractors. And for those that don't know, a lot of people left to Memphis and Houston and kind of
Mhm.
scattered all over the country. And they were getting kind of images back like, oh, your house is ready. And they came back and nothing had happened.
Right.
So they had to, kind of figure out a way. They lost, thousands of dollars in this. So reading that kind of brought me back there, and I know it had to be personal for you. Where were you during the time? Were you still in the city, or were you gone by then?
Now, when it happened, I was actually living in Rochester, New York, and I remember seeing. I had a friend who had grown up in New Orleans. He grew up in the Seventh Ward, and he attended St. Augustine High School, which is an all black male Catholic school in the city, which has like a really celebrated history. I have a lot of friends that went there who I've known, for years. But I bumped into my friend Marcus. I bumped into his wife at like a Kinko's. It showed you how far back this was, right? It was like a Kinko's or a FedEx copy center. And she was saying that some members of Marcus's family hadn't evacuated yet.
Mm,
And it was just something we had like a back and forth. And I was like, they probably should get out of there because, this seems like it's going to be a really big, a big thing. And I just remember having that conversation with her and not knowing that, whatever trepidation or fears we had were going to come to pass. And it was definitely tough to watch. I mean, I didn't grow up in New Orleans, but if you grew up in South Louisiana, that is the city. It is the place
mhm.
where, culturally, it's the kind of largest place in South Louisiana. Houston is more of a destination if you're looking for work, but New Orleans was the place where we went, for various concerts and social gatherings and festivals and all the rest of it. And I've been going to that city since the 70s, as a kid. So to watch what transpired, knowing I had so many people in different neighborhoods who evacuated, it was just tough to watch. And they sounded like, to hear the voices, they sounded so familiar, the people on news coverage, that it did hit me in a hard way.
Cedric, I wanted to ask you, is there a danger that we can see by simply reducing the travesty of Katrina to a story of racial injustice?
Mhm.
Is there anything that we would obscure by doing that without talking about how this is a tragedy of capitalism?
Right. Yeah, I mean, so as you all know, the person who was the first out of the gate with a really powerful and helpful criticism, a set of criticisms, was Adolph Reed Jr., right? He published articles in The Nation as well as in The Progressive. He appeared on a couple of radio broadcasts. And, he laid it out so clearly that really the main driver was not race, because there was so many different groups of New Orleanians who fled the city
Mhm.
using the contraflow evacuation plan, which for people in the audience who might not know, this is when all highway lanes are turned in one direction so that way there can be massive volume of traffic moving out of the city at once. This was done effectively. And, I know people who evacuated to Baton Rouge or parts of Mississippi, Acadiana, right, wherever they could find hotels or stay with relatives. And so that happened for, thousands of New Orleanians who were middle class or had, some had an automobile, had savings, credit cards, and other means that would allow them to evacuate in that manner. But for those who were dependent upon the city's transit system, people who were also, and we should say this and be, this is not a pejorative thing in my mind, people who were dependent on public assistance. And, the storm made landfall on August the 29th. So before, people would have seen their benefits kick in, right? And so you had people who were like desperately stuck in that city, right? And there was no contingency plan other than the Superdome, which became the shelter of last resort. But the way that Adolf lays it out is so clear that, we can't rely strictly on this racial justice frame, and certainly not the commentary of Kanye West, right? And the thing about it, I think this is why we see the racial justice frame kind of mushrooming and expanding in the years after Katrina. It's so easy to make that case because you only need anecdotes to back it up, right? You don't have to show us a broad systemic reading of the disasters. You can just point to the images we saw, which were overwhelmingly Black. And so there's no denying, what we saw. But I think what Adolf was so great at in that early going was pointing out that there was much more to the disaster than what we were witnessing. The other part of it too, and I think this is important for people to keep in mind, when the Katrina disaster happened, New Orleans had been a Black governed city, for 30 years at that point. It had been governed by, a Black mayor and city council since I was in elementary, right? And so the idea that somehow those persons weren't culpable for the poverty that existed in the city, the violence that still plagued it, especially in the 1980s and 90s, it's incomprehensible, right? Like, how could we rely strictly on the idea that this was racism, where racism, of course, is a part of the mix, but it's certainly not the main driver. And, again, I think Adolf was really great in pointing that out early on. And many of us, like Megan and, John Arena, Thomas Adams and others, I feel like we've built on some of the claims that he made early on, or tried to.
And if I may, I think that's where, going back to your first question, Jason, about the sort of what we were seeing 20 years ago, the other kind of misconception, even in leftist narratives, is one that it was the storm itself that accelerated neoliberalism's development and proliferation across the city, when in fact, you can trace those processes much earlier, back to the 1970s. In fact, like, my academic work was really answering a question about how a city like New Orleans, which ostensibly after the civil rights movement had been devastated policy-wise, politics-wise, socioeconomically wise, would come to set trends for the rest of the country within a decade. By the 1970s, some of the processes around creating an interracial growth coalition that saw growth as a mechanism to draw in middle-class white consumers to the city, reorganizing the way that the city was developed. And that is something that was shaped long before Katrina, where we saw the massive efforts over the 1970s and 1980s to privatize the city. Now, that didn't happen in the full effect until after Katrina. But the idea that those were not the trends that were already developing across the city is something that people like to use Katrina as a marker, when Katrina was actually just an accelerator of processes that had been underway for decades.
Is that the problem with kind of the shock doctrine framework, if you will, that became real popular when Naomi Klein wrote that book in the late aughts?
Yeah.
that it is post disaster that these things happen.
And I think, yes, I think so. And I think there's a lot of utility in that book in sort of understanding what happens in that moment that accelerates processes. But when we think about, and I've thought about this a lot because her book starts globally and doesn't come to the US until much later in that narrative. And when we have located neoliberalism as a concept at its very origins, we tend to locate that in Chile and the Pinochet movement. And the reality is, you see the same trends. You see the sort of diversion of federal funding that's supposed to go to community development and community-based organizations going to build hotels, high rises, luxury condominiums. That's already happening in New Orleans in the 1970s. The seeking of external capital, which was, kind of impossible in a city like New Orleans that was governed by a really insular elite up until the 1970s, being reimagined and reconfigured through a growth coalition of external developers, of sort of new money elites, and an interracial governing coalition. As Cedric said, there were from the 1970s on, the coalition that governed New Orleans was firmly interracial. In fact, it was that interracialism that gave credibility to the idea that somehow privatized economic development would benefit everybody. Those things went hand in hand. And so when we look at sort of the shock doctrine narrative, it really undermines and obscures the ways that these processes were in place and developing over decades before we get to the storm. What the storm did was accelerate processes that were already in place.
Right. The other thing I would add to it, to what Megan just said, I mean, I agree completely with that. I love Naomi Klein's book. I remember reading that book on the way to Argentina, not long after it came out, and just being thrilled by the way she was sort of weaving together this narrative. I think in a place like New Orleans, though, right, not only were these processes already in place, but there was no need for the kind of authoritarian heavy hand that we saw in other places, other parts of the world, because there was already a consensus, not only among politicians, but even within the population, of people who were against the idea of public housing, right? They had been against it for years. And that was not just in New Orleans, but nationally, right? We had Democrats and Republicans uniting to pass Hope 6 legislation during the 1990s. Clinton championed not only Hope 6, but also, the dismantling of AFDC and the creation of TANF, right? So the move from welfare to workfare. So those processes were already in place. But I think more importantly, when you talk to people in New Orleans about public housing and in the aftermath of Katrina, there was no shortage of people who were quick to tell you public housing needs to be torn down, right? And I think for people who had grown up in the city and knew, how notorious things had become in some of these housing complexes, right? The violence that was associated with them. I just think it was a tough argument to make, that you should preserve them or that you should rehab them, that you should expand them, just because public housing was such a defeated idea at that point, right? And then with the residents being dispersed across the country, it was difficult to mount an opposition that could stop the inevitable from happening, right? So yeah, I like Naomi Klein, but I just think that the process in New Orleans is not an authoritarian one so much. I mean, it certainly has its elites who are driving it, but there's also a tremendous amount of popular or local consent for some of the things that were being done, right? And I think we have to keep that in mind.
Tucson, is there anything you want to add?
I just want to say I appreciate you guys sort of looking at this and challenging the narratives and showing us this through different lenses. I wanted to add that the story of Hurricane Katrina is also the story of a hurricane and a bit about climate change, our lack of preparedness, and the complications that stand in the way of people being taken care of after these natural disasters happen. Hurricane Katrina was not a lot of categories, but we will be facing higher categories in the future. But also there was destruction of the marshlands and the wetlands in the South and around Louisiana, which would serve to blunt the force of hurricanes naturally. And that destruction was caused by runoff from pesticides further up in the country, which are destructive. I think that's something that's also important to consider. One of the things that I remember when I think of Hurricane Katrina is that I was watching footage of the people giving their own commentary in real time. And I remember two women, young women, one of them said, "This is not supposed to happen to us. This is supposed to happen in Haiti." And I remember feeling really hurt by that. I mean, I understand. I do.
Well,
Uh,
if it makes you feel any better, there was a headline in the LA Times, and I don't know if Cedric saw this, that said California is officially has hit the same poverty level as Louisiana.
Damn.
And that was like cause for alarm. And even I shuddered when I read it because I was like, oh, I've been to Louisiana. Those niggas are really poor. There are poor white people there that are poorer than the black people.
no.
I met white people that can't read there.
Right.
That's the first time I met a literate person. I didn't know that existed. I thought that was just an after school special.
I mean, it's very interesting when you sort of pull the cover off and have a look at what's really going on in this country. I think the CK shooting did that for a lot of people as well. More recently, you did mention political violence also, but
good abbreviation there. Megan, you want to say something?
Yeah, please.
To that point, I just like that's striking to hear and also not surprising. And you know, the storm Hurricane Katrina was 2005, and less than 5 years later, we bore witness to one of the most devastating earthquakes in the Western Hemisphere in Port-au-Prince, right? And what was remarkable to me was how differently the media covered those two incidents, but how similar the processes of reconstruction, which I think the U.S. was less invested in developing a fully neoliberal Port-au-Prince was, but the actors were the same, right? So you have Paul Vallis, who had overseen Chicago schools, come down to New Orleans to create that all charter system, brought in to eradicate public schools. Where did he go next? Port-au-Prince. You see the Clintons opening factories in Cap Haitian that were paying people less than $1 a week, but were bringing global capitalism into that system. And so I think there's ways in which these things, as we are more globalized, and this isn't a fully formed thought, but where in some ways what is happening now in Haiti is also a result of some, I've been testing this out, post-neoliberal moment that we are in, wherein global capital continues to function in a certain way, but the disaster is becoming ever more evident every single day.
Hmm.
Well,
No, so I was going to offer just one quick comment about the use of terms like third world, the comparisons to Haiti, the ways in which people rejected the use of the term refugees. I mean, there was a pretty blatant denial that the conditions that exist in other parts of the world were now native to the U.S. Right? I mean, so many people were struggling with that, and it was like especially from locals, right? They really didn't want to be cast in that light. But in retrospect, I mean, it was more than an apt way of characterizing what was happening, right? I mean, these were people who had very little protection from not even a strong hurricane. This was like a Category 3 hurricane when it made landfall, and not even a direct hit on New Orleans, right? And so
Right.
this idea of being maybe not stateless, but without the kinds of protections that many Americans have become accustomed to during our period of some vestige of social democracy, right? I mean, those things became, it became really clear. And again, looking back at New Orleans, it was sort of a portent of things to come, right? The other thing I would mention is kind of a fun fact. If you ever watched the movie adaptation of Cormac McCarthy's The Road, they actually filmed that in post Katrina New Orleans, right? So
really?
the
I didn't know that.
landscape, yeah, parts of it, the desolate landscape um, was, a little bit too true to life.
Pascal, do you want to add anything? Since you're
Yeah, I'm sure you guys are familiar with that piece that Malcolm Gladwell wrote after Katrina, talking about how people who had been expats and moved on to places like Houston and Texas were doing better off than they were in New Orleans.
Right.
How would you respond to that kind of critique, Cedric or Megan? That basically, oh, Katrina was a good thing for a lot of those poor folk that they moved on and got better jobs in other places, other locations. It was almost a kind of like neoliberal apologetica, if you will.
Right. No, it's total bullshit, right? I mean, Gladwell wrote a few things that were pretty terrible in the aftermath of Katrina. Um, but yeah, that was part of the broader liberal line, right? The whole moving to opportunity notion was promoted across the board, right? It was when we saw Barbara Bush walking through I guess it was the Astrodome in Houston and talking to people and basically telling the news cameras that these people were doing pretty good for themselves, right? They had left behind poverty and now they were stepping into some other set of possibilities. And then you had, and this is maybe the most egregious things, people like Xavier Briggs, William Julius Wilson, and dozens of other well-respected and well-known sociologists who signed on to a statement basically arguing that this was an opportunity for them and everyone else to test these ideas about what happens when poor people are able to move into closer proximity with middle class and upwardly mobile people and have access to the same kinds of schools and other institutions, right? And so that rhetoric was peddled, pretty strongly in the weeks and months afterwards. But it's always been, for the most part, hokum, right? I mean, the idea of demolishing places like the Iberville or the Lafitte public housing, you could say, oh yeah, we're giving these people an opportunity by moving them towards middle class or mixed income developments, right? Or giving them vouchers so that they can move around the city and find the best possible housing for themselves. But it never really quite works out that way. I mean, if anything, these are land grabs. It was a land grab here in Chicago when they demolished the Cabrini Green, because it sat right in the heart of a number of different um, established middle class and wealthy neighborhoods. And the idea that they were going to rebuild and provide adequate housing, one for one replacements, that just hasn't happened, right? And people have been dispersed, and you can look at it from one city to another. What happens to people with housing vouchers, Section 8 vouchers? They become resegregated in places where they can find affordable housing, right? And so, in New Orleans, that's happened with people being displaced from older central city neighborhoods to places like New Orleans East.
And to put a finer point on that, right now, with this housing voucher system, which is being replicated with school vouchers, 70% of landlords across New Orleans today still deny housing vouchers.
Right.
So, like, the notion of opportunity is not even real, even if it was legitimate.
You guys actually talk in your piece about how neoliberal ideology shaped the city's recovery. Can you kind of explain for the audience how that worked? Maybe let's take the schools, for example. There was the firing of like 7,000 teachers, and then New Orleans becomes the first all-charter school system. As you guys said earlier, and you also say in the piece, this was something that was in the works beforehand. Was the school thing in the works beforehand as well?
Yeah. Katrina struck just at a moment where we see the sort of emergence of these models of charter schools. I'm thinking Success Academy, Eva Moskowitz's Outpost, and KIP. And both of these models are, first of all, imbued with just vitriolic racism about an ideology about the way that Black children in particular learn. But there was also this idea that getting rid of labor unions, which was a huge part of what was driving the destruction of public school movement at the time, coupled with efficiency measures around how schools operate, whether that's about the, preparing students for testing only, privatizing every function so that it's more profitable. Those were things that were already underway. And because, New Orleans had a very uneven school district, it became easier in that moment to do so. Now, I think a really critical point is that this was something that as it occurred, destroyed a workforce. There was a working middle class workforce of teachers that were completely eliminated, as well as their potential labor power, their voice in recovery efforts. And by doing that, and by doing it so quickly after the storm, right? The firings happened within 3 months of the storm. They were able to do it with less opposition on the ground. People were still in Memphis, Nashville, Houston. And so it was, and that's the part of the shock doctrine that maybe works here. But those things were long underway, and it happened so quickly that people were not organized to disrupt that.
How did those charter schools help or fail the students, the young people of New Orleans?
I mean, well, one thing we could talk about would be, the access question, right? So, and this is true across the country, and I've dealt with it with my own kids, navigating school systems in New York State as well as Illinois. It creates this situation where education is no longer, a quality education is no longer a right or a guarantee. And students, have to be in lotteries. They have to audition in some cases, depending on what have to take entrance exams. And so it sets up not just it's not only a marketization when it comes to who's running the schools, but there's also the competitiveness that comes with who gets admitted to certain schools, right? And it,
and who's allowed to stay in those schools, right? If you have a model that willingly will kick kids out if they have disabilities, learning challenges, if they talk too much during class, and your attrition is what is driving your success rate, there is a fundamental problem, right?
Right. No doubt.
So you guys are not fans of meritocracy, is what you're telling me. What I'm getting here?
Give me
Call that a
nepotism all day.
Right? Is that am I getting liberals?
Right.
No, I'm teasing. Housing policy is also a big part of what you guys are talking about. How did housing policy after Katrina remake the city socially and demographically?
Yeah. Could I respond to that? And actually, I glanced at the comments, and there was a question that's connected to this question about housing. Somebody was asking about the 1960s and Hurricane Betsy, and whether or not there was a neoliberal dimension to that. I don't know if I'd quite call it neoliberal, but what we did see during Hurricane Betsy, and this was a revelation for me when I really began to dig into the longer history of the state of Louisiana and how the states responded to hurricanes. You know, when Lyndon B. Johnson landed boots on the ground in New Orleans after Hurricane Betsy in 1965, he did something that in retrospect seems really powerful and desirable, right? He comes in and he pledges to expand and shore up the city's levee system or the region's levee system and flood protection system. And in hindsight, you know, that's what we were all hoping for after Katrina, right? It was that there would be some deepened commitment to making sure that the city was protected, right? When we look closer at what happens in the 1960s, we can see the beginnings of the same sort of neoliberal turn, even though it's not being called that at the time. Part of the reason why LBJ did this wasn't so much to protect individuals who were living in those areas, but to shore up the real estate industry as well as the insurance industry in that region, right? Without the levee system, it would have been impossible to continue to build in parts of the city that were expanding, you know, like New Orleans East. If you didn't have some guarantees that these areas would not be flooded again, right? And so there's a way that the levee system, as it began to grow from 1965 onwards, is very much connected to real estate. And that's explicit. If you go back and look at not just LBJ's statements, but other statements by local governing officials at the time. And so even though we think of the levees as being put in place to protect people, they were really there to protect property, right? And, you know, like so many other aspects of American infrastructure, you know, they tend to have commercial and even military needs or interests before the needs of the broader population.
You guys don't make the levees a central point of your article as you talk more about the after effects. But for many people, it is the levees that is the story of Katrina. Can you talk a little bit about the failure of the levee system and how that kind of functioned to flood the city with just 10 inches of rain?
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's a complex process, right? I think you know, saying the perfect storm is not the right phrase, but you know, you had so many failures across the board, right? And I think some of these failures were a direct result of, you know, tax cuts and the impact that it had on the Army Corps of Engineers and what they were able to do to maintain the system that was in place. But some of it also has to do with local mismanagement at the local level, right? One of the early books about Katrina by Jed Horn, the journalist, points this out, right? That for some of these levee boards, you know, the kind of inspection and regulation that should have been happening was not happening, right? That these were boards that were oftentimes just patronage, opportunities for people in office, right? To give away a posh assignment to one of their loyalists, and basic things like regulating how people who lived adjacent to levees interacted with them, right? So you couldn't necessarily plant a tree on an earthen levee because it could compromise that as a flood control structure. People were doing that sort of thing in different parts of New Orleans, right? So Jed Horn pointed that out early on. He was like, you know, it wasn't just the Army Corps of Engineers and whatever corners they were trying to cut to preserve the system. But you had other problems, that would take, its own dedicated study to really address and really think through what were the contributing factors.
Pascal, do you want to add anything?
And I would say too, in addition to what we mentioned earlier in regards to the deterioration of what's the natural barrier to hurricanes, which is the wetlands that exists to the south and west of New Orleans, right? I mean, those have been depleted for years. I can't remember what's the latest figure in terms of how much acreage is being lost, how many football fields are being lost in New Orleans right now as we speak. But that process at this point is kind of irreversible, right? And it's a process that, is a consequence of a lot of different things, including dredging and, the creation of industrial canals and other infrastructure related to shipping, as well as oil and gas delivery.
The last time I was in New Orleans, I went to Barataria Preserve, which is home to some of those wetlands.
Right.
And it's beautiful, and you can walk boardwalks and see nature. And there was an alligator picking up another dead alligator and slamming it to the ground. And a ranger walked by, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? Said, there's no more wetlands. So they are literally starving to death and cannibalizing each other. And that seems like there's a metaphor and a metaphor somewhere there about where we are and what Katrina is truly the harbinger of, because it is a natural disaster in the ways that Toussaint has described it. And it is also a man-made disaster that we are living out every single day.
Can I say something about that? So there was an author, an activist at the time who made her way down to New Orleans, and she found herself telling stories that I've not heard anywhere else. Stories about bodies not being recovered and just sort of floating around in front of their relatives, and alligators eating the bodies, and all kinds of really horrific things. But one of the things that she highlighted was that there was a migrant population that doesn't get talked about. There were a number of people who were primarily Spanish speakers.
Yes.
They may or may not have had documentation, and they were cut off from access to aid because of the language barrier and their fear of, la migra. They didn't want to get deported or anything.
Well, they were being brought in. I don't know if you know the whole story about what happened, and a lot of labor rollbacks were done during this time.
Right.
Cedric, can you and Megan actually kind of talk about that? Because I think that's another important part that people don't talk about. Again, spending time there. There was one rig I had that actually got the newspaper, which was kind of interesting because there was I was on a rig with the guys that went out and checked the wells. And I say that with finger quotations because you're talking about helicopters that flew over and was like, yep, everything's fine. And then, it was like two dudes. But in the paper, which I found kind of shocking, was that it constantly talked about deaths of these migrant workers that had came in to help in the rebuild process. Can you guys talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, so George W. Bush, in the short run after the disaster, really created the conditions for a race to the bottom in terms of wages and working conditions for people in the region who were going to do the early relief work, recovery work, and then eventually the reconstruction. A couple of things that he did. One was he waived Davis-Bacon Act provisions, right? This is something coming from the New Deal period, right? That required all federal contractors to provide proof of citizenship for people they were hiring, as well as to pay a prevailing wage. He also waived certain OSHA requirements, as well as the requirement of providing affirmative action plans for those persons who are hiring. What all of that did essentially was create this bonanza for undocumented, for employers to bring on undocumented and highly vulnerable workers. And for people who really want to read up on this, one of the pieces in our issue by Nicole Trujillo Pagan really takes this up and shows how it plays out. And I mean, you're absolutely right. It's kind of like a Wild West situation where there really is no protection for these folks. And you have, various documented cases of people who were underpaid, not paid at all, people who went to request their payment for work and were met with at gunpoint, right? And turned away and told to get the hell out of here because we're not going to pay you, right? So there was all manner of hyper exploitation and abuse. And also they didn't even get basic provisions in terms of Tyvek suits and dust masks and other things that volunteers would have as, volunteers coming from universities and schools and churches had more in the way of basic safety equipment and water and, other things that you would need in order to work in that environment than those who were brought in as wage laborers.
Pascal, you want to add something to that?
So the question I want to ask is that how exactly did this turn out in terms of the modern New Orleans, in terms of what exactly, where is the city today in terms of the neoliberalization of the housing, the education system? Is there any kind of pushback against this, or is it a done deal? I mean, are we basically seeing the complete privatization of all of New Orleans? What has happened to the public thoroughfares in the city?
Megan?
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone in my life thinks I'm a pessimist, so I'm going to try to answer this with a little bit of optimism. Processes of neoliberal urban development are never complete, right? There are always cracks because privatization doesn't work for people, and so there are places where I think we can see that it is always going to be an incomplete process. The promise of recovery efforts, and I think it's important to note that the sort of privatization efforts were led on a federal level by groups like the Heritage Foundation and the Manhattan Institute, who were determining the shape of the city around the propertied interests that Cedric has talked about, in sort of envisioning what a new New Orleans would look like. And so what you see is sort of kicked around in the days and months after the storm are, how do we bring in tech startups a la San Francisco or even Austin at that point? How do we begin to shrink the city's footprint so that we actually don't have to deal with certain neighborhoods like the Lower Ninth or East or, parts of Gentilly. And in some ways, and the promise of that was, we are going to be able to remake the city as a middle-class luxury playground. And what we have seen is much more uneven than that, because neoliberalism depends on a laboring class or a working class that is highly exploited and always poor. And so, I was looking at some of the statistics, sort of thinking from 1970 and now. The poverty rates are the same. The concentrated disadvantage rates are the same. People who are cost burdened in rent is actually increasing over the last decade. And so I think what has been hard to figure out is why there isn't more of a resurgence of a working class movement that has been utterly devastated in the last 20 years. I mean, it was devastated in New Orleans far earlier than that, but in the last 20 years, we've really seen that crystallized, because the reality that we can look at 20 years down the line is that this has been in a wholly unequal redevelopment that has for sure benefited the propertied interests and the developer class that has found a haven there. But for working people in New Orleans, the last 20 years have been hell.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you guys actually do another good job of kind of letting everyone know that Katrina is not something special. This happens everywhere. And you brought in the wildfires in California, which happened earlier. I was actually in Southern California when the warning went out. I was supposed to be doing some interviews for an article I wrote in Damage Magazine, and everything was shut down in North Hollywood. But those wildfires, whereas you didn't have that high of a death toll, still anyone dying from these is really horrible. It did affect thousands of people. And you point this out, or one of you, I don't know who wrote it, Cedric or Megan, but that there was kind of a loss of empathy, even in left circles, for people that lost everything in places like the Pacific Palisades, almost like a schadenfreude, if you will. And again, that was kind of personal for me as well, because I do have a family member that did live in the Palisades and lost everything. She showed me pictures, and it was rather frightening to see what happened. Can you guys talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, there was so much just weird conversation. This is one of the problems of, I mean, I don't want to go off on a total rant about social media, but
Rant on.
the ways that, you know, cursory or even just uninformed, you know, takes on what's happening just can catch fire, right? And so the way that people seized upon Altadena and just reproduce falsehoods about Altadena, right? I mean, I heard people say it was a black community, it was a black neighborhood, you know, all these sorts of characterizations. And, you know, both Pasadena and Altadena have a better progressive history of racial integration, right? There are people who live there. I think the historian Robin Kelly lived in Pasadena. You know, Jackie Robinson and Mac Robinson lived in Pasadena. Octavia Butler, the science fiction writer, lived in both Altadena and Pasadena. So there's been a presence of black people in that part of the LA metro area for a long time. But it's not a black neighborhood, and it's certainly not, you know,
Not at all.
Yeah, it's not
Not at all.
Yeah, it's not the kind of place that people are imagining. And for me, it doesn't matter, right? I mean, the people who lost their homes deserve the same sort of support across Los Angeles County and all the way down to San Diego, right? I mean, people who've been affected negatively. And I think we also have to get away from this idea that the homeowners, right, should be the subject. This was a problem after Katrina. And once again, you know, we're comparing homeowners, right, the deserving black homeowners in Altadena who require our support versus the spoiled rich people we believe exist in Pacific Palisades. And we're losing sight of how many people are affected, right? The people who worked in those areas, who lost their jobs, essentially, right? The people who are now, who are already sort of cost burdened in terms of housing, who are now going to feel more pressure as the displaced from the Palisades and Altadena and other areas seek out housing in other parts of the region. And so there's just a different kind of thinking that needs to happen. And I think one of the problems with neoliberalization is that it really lowered our expectations of government, but it also lowered our sense that we are a collective, right? That to be in a society, to be a citizen within a particular nation state formation would mean having some expectations that as a citizen, I have a right to certain relief, right, in the midst of a disaster. I mean, at least that was the expectation for a good part of the second half of the 20th century. But now it's just not, it's just not the way we think about this country anymore, which is a problem.
Pascal, do you want to add anything?
No, continue.
Megan, you want to add
Well,
something?
I did. I think part of the critique that Cedric just offered is why we started the piece with a story about charity, because the other half of the coin of bringing in highly vulnerable, highly exploited, undocumented labor was the other side of what was offered as part of the recovery effort, which was the idea that recovery should happen through private charities, through volunteerism, as a mechanism of determining that deserving and undeserving category. And that it was no longer the state's responsibility. I mean, I think, when we think about Trump saying, I'm not going to send FEMA into California, that origin story is New Orleans, right? Where you have the state sort of abdicating to private charities as a mechanism by which to determine these deserving and undeserving groups. And so when we look at how that played out, that there is a through line between that and Altadena, that and Kickstarter, GoFundMe campaigns that we are seeing pop off and also make those choices. Now social media plays a part in deciding who those people are.
Yeah, and I was gonna say too, like with the LA wildfires, right? You've got Trump coming in and basically saying he's not going to support them, or using it as an opportunity to grandstand. He also did the same thing with Westmore in Maryland after parts of Western Maryland were flooded. And these are historically very much Republican, parts of the state. But even among Democrats, I mean, recall what happened with Karen Bass, right? Giving a press conference, and she's up there talking about mutual aid, right? And not only is that a bastardization of what the term mutual aid has meant historically, which is how working class people survive, right? Across the planet. But she treats it, she really uses it as a euphemism for charity, right? And that's not what it is, right? I mean, mutual aid has always been in its best form about solidarity with other working class people, right? And you don't have to call it mutual aid in order for it to exist. But the appropriation by elites of this notion of mutual aid, I think, was a really important moment that is not unlike Trump sitting there picking winners and losers and who's going to receive aid and who's not, as a way of punishing his adversaries.
Toussaint, did you want to add something about mutual aid?
No, I think mutual aid is definitely an unexplored topic in our corner of the internet. But I wanted to take this opportunity to ask Cedric and Megan an unfair question. Perhaps unfair. I would like for you to predict the future. As I mentioned in my comment about the women talking about Haiti and Katrina, and Jason brought up that in your article, you talked about how Hurricane Katrina was not special. This happens all over the world, right? We are bumping up against American exceptionalism in the minds of Americans, how we see ourselves. This seems untenable. What is going to happen with American exceptionalism going forward now, where we've got fascism going, climate change, we're still going to have disasters, lots of things are going wrong. Is it going to be like an extinction burst? Are we going to ramp up in it before it dies? Is it going to die slowly? How? Talk to me.
I told you I was a pessimist. Okay.
It's a good place to start.
It's
I
easy
ended
to
up-
be nowadays, right?
I mean, because Cedric brought up Altadena and Octavia Butler, it's hard to not think we're going the direction of the parable of the sower, right? And it's interesting. I just got back from Portugal, where they are in their 50th year post-revolution that ended a military dictatorship, started in a coup, and they are headed back that way, right? They are on the verge of elections this October that is going to shore up a victory for the right wing that has begun to model itself off President Trump. And as we were discussing before we got started today, I think that what we are seeing, both in terms of law firms and major universities getting on their knees, so to speak, hands out. I will leave you all to finish that image. American exceptionalism, to me, has been dead a very, very long time. But I think we're about to see. I think for the average American, maybe not this year, maybe next year, maybe with the fall of Medicaid and SNAP, which will happen January 1, 2027, we will see that exceptionalism fade away, because even if the playbook for this new wave of fascism, I think, firmly feels very American, it's a global phenomenon, and I don't think we can get away from that.
Pascal. Pascal, you want to say something?
Yeah. So basically, we're looking at a grim future here. Where we're F-worded, pretty much.
I do want to bring one thing up that when I think of Katrina, or just that moment, I do remember Kanye West's statement, George Bush doesn't care about black people. It kind of became this iconic moment, especially for him, as being taken as a more serious, quote unquote, artist, right? For a lot of people, that's their 60s moment where rap really became this important thing for some people. How did cultural moments like that shape the national narrative about Katrina, and do they obscure deeper structural issues? Anyone?
Yeah, I mean, certainly. Yeah, it was just a mischaracterization, right? I mean, everybody. I think the criticism of George Bush was well deserved. I don't think he really cares about black people who are not in the same tax bracket that he's in. But even now, looking back on it, right, it just didn't really capture the entire scope and enormity of what was happening, right? And not to lay on another layer of pessimism, I think I can end with a bit more of a rosier sense of things than what we've said so far. This is dire. The situation we're in is incredibly dire right now, and there's moments when I look out and I'm listening to either students or people I know who are activists, and there's a lack of faith, to be honest, in the sense that we can govern this country in a different way, right? That people on the left can actually come to power in a real way, not just a one-off election here and there, but that we can actually govern, right? I think we're a long ways from that. Like, that has to change. I think that's one of the casualties of neoliberalization as a process, that many of us we've had our expectations lowered, but we've also surrendered governing of the society to like elites. We look at the Congress, it's a complete millionaires club, right? We look at the people who elected Trump to the second term. We're talking about well-established oligarchs. And we're living through a moment where there's more inequality. I keep telling my students this on a regular basis. There's more inequality now than during the robber baron age.
Yeah.
And so in that context, where do we find the hope, right? Where do we find some sort of sense of possibility? Places like New Orleans, right? It's tough. Louisiana, my home state, it's a bad place to be right now, right? But every now and then, there's moments where we see the American public, express what they want, right? And I think, recently there was a series of Trump-related or MAGA resolutions that were on the ballot in Louisiana that were all defeated, right? Even with the kind of red state heaviness of Louisiana, those ballot initiatives were defeated by the electorate that was energized and turned out en masse to stop them. I think there are many cities that are doing things that just don't get the media attention, and they're not worthy of social media circulation, right? So when people pass, universal pre-K, that doesn't get folks as excited as finding out that somebody was assaulted by a police officer, right? That doesn't really capture the attention in the same ways. But there's places where people are doing all sorts of things. I mean, social housing was passed in Seattle, right? Mm-hmm. Even in the last election when Trump, dominated, you had progressive legislation that was passed in some of the states where he won. And so I think there's battles that are happening, whether it's over living wage, whether it's over guaranteeing a woman's right to choose, whether it's trying to make sure that people have adequate health care in certain states, whether it's preparing for the onslaught that'll happen once, Medicaid and Medicare and other things are rolled back. Things are happening, right? In different parts of the country. We just don't get a chance to talk about them in the same ways because it's all overshadowed by the mania and the daily madness of the Trump administration, right? And so I think we need to, as Thomas Adams said, to me last weekend when we were in New York, he was like, we need to unplug from social media and talk to each other, right? And I know it's vital for some people. We got to talk to each other about what's happening and focus on these victories that are happening locally, right? Whether it's the Mamdani election, which has many people fired up, or the elections of other, left progressives and socialists in other parts of the country this is happening, right? But I just think things can go a lot of different ways, right? It looks incredibly dire right now, but we shouldn't forget that, history is contingent. We can't determine what's going to happen or predict what's going to happen next year, just like we couldn't necessarily predict how we got into this bind of a second Trump administration, right? I mean, some people called it, but many people didn't see it coming, right? So I just think we have to, again, remind ourselves of the possibilities that are hidden within every historical moment. That's as optimistic as I can be, right? So
no, I appreciate it. And again, wherever people are watching or later listening to this show, there's a link in the description to Cedric and Megan's piece. This has been a very great conversation about Katrina. Now, I do want to play a video for Cedric, Megan, Pascal, and Toussaint.
Oh my!
Yes, Toussaint. Oh my is correct. For those that normally watch this show on Tuesday through Thursday, this is the moment that we go into the champagne room and we have some more uncensored fun. And since this is the Saturday free show, I do want to take something Cedric said in that final epilogue to the show. Little victories, challenging power, speaking truth to power.
Video.
How does one silently speak truth to power? How does one silently make power shudder at the mere sight? Well, I think you have to crump.
Oh, gosh.
You crump.
What is that?
And for those that don't remember the The year that was 2020. Cedric has written some books about it, but he left this part out. The most important part. Right here.
You have to describe what's happening for our audio listeners.
Can you describe Toussaint?
Oh my Lord. There is a man and a woman at a protest, it seems, in the middle of the street, gesticulating wildly, crumping hard in front of some police with guns. In protest, it seems.
Have you ever witnessed a crump in front of cops?
I've seen video of like Gen Z dancing in front of cops, like getting down, grinding in protest and telling the cops to join them. But I haven't seen the hard crumping.
Why did you say the hard crumping?
Because they're going at it. I mean, I was talking to Jason about how is this not similar to the Maori people doing the haka dance
Not at all.
in Australia? You explain why. Explain why it's not like that.
First of all, that's like the thing you do before you fuck somebody up. Like when you do that dance, the next thing you do is fuck that person up, right? Like there's a few things. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you're from. I don't care what language you speak. You say these words before you fuck somebody up. I'm not the one. Who here has ever gotten their ass beat by their parents? And that was the first thing. I'm not the one. And then you get your ass beat. Or maybe you saw it in a bar. I'm not the one. Right? You're going to get fucked up when someone says that. If a Maori person starts doing that dance shit in front of you, you're going to get fucked up. You're going to get fucked up. It's not going to be good for you. If I see a dude do this in front of me, I'm going to fuck him up. I know for sure I'm about to fuck this dude up. I'm going to do some crazy bolo punches on him.
Is he not making you feel something?
I'm going to slap the Alvin Ailey out of his ass.
Oh.
You're not. I
feel like that's an insult to Alvin Ailey.
She's like, Jason, you wildin'. Out of control.
I mean,
look.
Let our kings rest in peace.
It would have been better if the cops sort of challenged them back, right? And came back with something.
Somebody said the cops should have done the robot. Like, there's no way in the world. I don't care where you are. I don't care if you're in the deepest region of Brazil. Ain't nobody finna break dance before they fuck you up. They're just gonna fuck you up.
So what you're saying is the cops are pulling out a baton right now.
The cops are like, hey, man, this motherfuckers is just finna dance. They're holding in laughs right now. I'm sure a couple of them like, should we record this for the homies? Because I would have pulled out my phone and been like, I'm getting time and a half for this. Look at the one cop turn around. He was like, "Will you believe this shit?"
Is it on a loop or is this?
Yeah.
It's on a loop, yes.
I think this was Portland, right?
Oh, of course.
Was this the other two black people in Portland? Hey, there's no black people in Portland. I did have to share that with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
You got to look at the one I sent you.
Did you just send me one?
I sent you one on Instagram. The people doing the Cupid shuffle. one guy's handcuffed doing it, right?
Okay, look, you guys, I have to go change Instagram accounts. You guys be interesting while I find them.
Oh man,
Nice.
put us in a position to be interesting. So, what other collaborations do you guys have? Anything you want to push or plug while we're here?
Nah, I just encourage people to check out the double issue. You know, with non-site is completely free. It's not paywall. So if you want to look at some of the pieces that we republish, please do.
Are those pieces in other publications as well, or it's all on non-site?
Yeah, everything was, except for the lead essay that we wrote together. Everything is republished from other places, but a lot of it was in academic books or journals, and not as accessible.
Oh, okay.
How did you two get together to start writing?
So I finished my dissertation in 2014, and someone on my committee knew that Adolf Reed would be interested in a dissertation on economic development in New Orleans. And the larger group of folks were, this was in May, we're having a conference in the city that August. And so Adolf encouraged me to write a piece for that. And we all convened in August, and now he can't get rid of me, Cedric.
Yeah, I was going to say that's been one of the great things about, unfortunately, about the Katrina disaster, was it brought together like a lot of us who were either connected to the state or the city or writing about, relevant issues. We all kind of came together, in the aftermath of the disaster to do intellectual work. But, there's bonds of friendship and that have lasted, beyond the initial crisis. So that's been great.
Pascal seems to be zapped away. I believe the story that they're saying right now on TIR lore is that the ghost of Booker T. Washington has been zapped. Megan, I don't know what Cedric brought you to, because he goes, I can bring Megan in. And every time someone says that, I'm always like, did she watch the show first? And a lot of people are like, don't watch the show first. I'm like, you should really watch the show first, because then you understand that we don't give a fuck. Like, and really, that's part of the ethos of what we do. Mm-hmm. Not really giving a fuck. And
ignorance is what we call
ignorance. It actually, we were so drunk with laughter that I changed the description on the show on all platforms. Nignorance with J. Miles, Pascal Robert, Toussaint.
It's like Black excellence, but not.
Yep.
Is that gonna be a new shirt available?
No, I can't. You know why I can't do that, dude? I'll tell you. I'll be real. Oh God, I feel comfortable saying this with all Black people on the screen, but since we started the show, people said you should sell an N-word pass, and I was like, no, I shouldn't. I should not. I have pushed limits on this show to the point where my mother has contacted me and goes, you can't do that.
Yes.
Right.
And my mother is not a saint. That's like Satan going, ooh. Maybe. Who is it that we put on the black card?
I literally just got the image of Jay-Z's mother calling Hot 97 after Super Ugly. That's what I'm imagining right now.
My mom. We put Harriet Tubman on an Amex black card because it was back when people were talking about, oh, Harriet Tubman's going to be on the $20 bill. I was like, I don't give a shit. Like put it on an Amex Black card, and then someone made the image. So that was the background image of the show was Harriet Tubman on an Amex Black card. And my mom was like, "Ooh,
It's a bridge too far, right?
that's a bridge too far. Like, please, like, don't. If you're gonna do stuff, don't do that." I was like, "We got different last names. It's not gonna come back to you. You're fine." But yeah. So after that, I was like, maybe we should tell people beforehand. But Cedric sent me this video, and I'm actually, anytime I see a black man in a cowboy hat and ATVs, I'm like, I'm here for it.
What?
Oh my God. Oh no.
You have to describe it, Jason.
So I don't know where this is. I would have, you know what?
I think it's in Louisiana.
I was gonna say, if you told me this is Louisiana, I'd be like,
It's
yeah.
gotta be.
I feel comfortable that this is like somewhere in South Louisiana, and there is a black man in a cowboy hat, shirtless, handcuffed, and somehow there's a sheriff behind him with a baton, and they're doing the Cupid shuffle, and he's getting it in handcuffs, and the sheriff is as well with a baton. That's a real sheriff. She's got a gun and everything.
That's wild. That's wild. He is grinding.
And he's getting low. The dude in the handcuffs is getting low. My
this
God.
is the answer to the earlier question of why there's no opposition in Louisiana, right?
You can't look, we have to be honest. We can't have here. Let me stop sharing my screen because you guys can't see myself.
See all your other videos.
I get in trouble. I've fallen down a rabbit hole. I don't know why my algorithm looks like this.
Clicking on too many things, right?
I don't know where it comes from. I'm going to be honest. I don't know where it comes from. I just get these videos by chance. But there's a video that I saw. I think I sent this to you, Cedric, and maybe I didn't because you are a good person. And I don't want you to think less of me. And then sometimes I say, fuck it. Just think what you want. I've seen a lot of fights in my life. I've seen a lot of fights. I've never seen a fight end this way. But I feel like this fight is kind of a metaphor for where we are today. Did I send this to you, Toussaint? This fight?
I don't think so. And this isn't the one we saw before.
I think you sent me this with the valet or the he kicks that guy like a straight taekwondo,
Yeah.
like a pure taekwondo kick.
I don't know where you are from, Miss Megan, but again, in a lot of the street fights I've seen, whenever karate comes into play, it doesn't usually work out well for the karate-er. But this person, karate, it worked very well. But for the receiver of the karate, he ended in a position I have never seen. A grown person, man or woman, end in during a fight.
Oh, son, he just the. Oh, shit.
Like I said, nigga. Like the fuck I said, nigga.
What? What am I watching?
Right.
Tucson, you have lived in New York for your entire life. I know you've seen crazy shit. Have you? Somebody just yelled out, "No!" Have you ever seen a fight in like that?
That's wild. That's a very it was a very weird position to end up in a fight.
Also, never fight on concrete.
Yeah, they didn't have a choice. Everything's concrete.
No, you always have a choice to walk away. I can be all the bitches in the world.
That's a fact.
I will be all the bitches. Bitch, nigga. All right. This is concrete. No. Doesn't work out well. I'm not going to end up like this young man right here. You're not going to have me cheeks up at the end. Cedric, you are from Southern Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
He's wearing a California shirt today, though.
He spent some time in California. Have you ever seen a fight where A, karate worked, and B, where the receiver of said karate ended up like that?
Never that kind of glorious kick at the beginning. I've seen people get kicked in the groin like that and gone down, but I've definitely seen folks get knocked out. That guy took one straight on the chin.
I've never seen. Oh God, there's a super chat. Tucson, what is the super chat? Can you see it?
Yes, the super chat is from Dizzle.
Mm-hmm.
Dizzle McFizzle says, "Is this free champagne? If so, put them nuts on the stream, Jason."
No, because you guys have been making fun of my shorts.
You can also acceptable, as far as I'm concerned, your Dubai chocolate or your Labubu. Put your Labubu on the screen.
Does Cedric and Megan know about Labubu?
I learned yesterday.
Just in time.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
What did you think when you saw it?
It's just the latest thing, right? The latest little weird fetish that people have. I saw somebody left one at Karl Marx's grave.
Was it bedazzled?
Huh?
Was it bedazzled?
I don't know if it was bedazzled, but there was like a photo circulating.
That is awesome.
Left the offering.
We're doing a show about Labubu soon.
We're doing a show about Labubu.
Really?
Are you going to discuss Naomi Osaka's bedazzled Labubus?
Naomi Osaka, the Haitian Japanese tennis wonderkind.
She has hired exclusively a designer to bedazzle her Labubos. This is how I learned about it.
What?
I didn't know about it till a friend came to stay with me, and his girlfriend came, and she was like, "Is there Labubu here?" And I was like, "I don't appreciate you talking about these people like that." And she was like, "No, it's a thing." And she showed me on her phone what it was. I was like, "I've never seen it." And we have these massive flea markets here in Mexico, and they sell tons of these Labubu things. And I guess there's bootleg Labubu, and I guess every box is like a mystery of what kind of Labubu you get. And I asked my 7-year-old about it. He knew what Labubu was. They do these special Labubu drops. Mm-hmm. So how long do you think the Labubu thing lasts before the Labubu bubble bursts? Say that 5 times fast.
I say after Christmas it's done, right?
Oh.
That's a good guess.
The same way as all these other things, right? Like every Christmas is a different kind of coveted item everybody wants, right?
That's true. It was the cups before, right? The Stanley cups.
Yes, it's always been something, right?
Cabbage Patch Kids. Yeah, this stuff doesn't last long, but there seems to be this thing where they're trying to make it like, well, we won't release a bunch of it, so it'll be a secondary market for Labubus constantly. And the whole show is actually not really about Labubu, but more about kind of the infantilization of adults. How we're kind of stuck in our childhoods, especially a certain generation of people. Marvel is eternal. Barbie is eternal. You know, there's a demographic of toy manufacturers for adults that has outsold children. So adults buy action figures more than young people. So that's what that show is going to be about. Probably a sad, show.
DoorDash
We're all
is my
Disney
umbilical
adults
cord.
now. Yeah. Kush Look is right. That was originally going to be the title, but I didn't think it was going to hit like just calling it. But I want to thank Cedric and Megan for taking the time to talk with us today, to risk public ridicule.
And tenure
For watching the Nagacity. That is TIR. Thank you guys. And again, wherever you guys are watching or listening to the show, there's a link in the description to Cedric and Megan's articles, plural. Please check them out. Leave a comment on where you were during Katrina and how you see it now, 20 years later. Cedric and Megan, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good one, guys.
All right, take it easy.
We are going to continue to do mad niggerish things.
I know.
Pascal's gone. We can be. Let's just jump in the deep end of the pool now.
No fights and no tortas.
Okay.
No fights over tortas. Also.
No fights over tortas. That's my favorite thing to do.
It's your favorite genre.
My favorite genre is torta fights. My new favorite genre is Dame Dash videos. Say it with the clap. Dame Dash videos.
You know what? He is good for a short. He's got it. He's got it. Always has.
He is a horrible dude to be around. You know for a fact being around Dame Dash fucking sucks. Everybody's a pussy to him. No one can do anything right. I'm sure he's always yelling
like a nice guy to you.
Fuck no, dude.
I will tell you this.
Uh-oh.
I had a friend who met him, right? Okay. It wasn't like at a party or anything. She was literally in an elevator with him. She had an elevator ride with him. So she's in the elevator with him and somebody's like running and they're trying to catch the elevator. He holds the elevator door open. He presses the button and the person is allowed to come in. And the person is like, can you believe, he was like, oh, well, thank you for, holding the door. And Dame Dash was like, can you believe some people would just close the door and just, try to go on about their business and not hold the door for others? And he looks at my friend and she's like, sir, weren't you pouring champagne on a half naked woman? That's so funny.
You're not.
You talk about decency.
Like, dude does not. You know what kind of guy he seems like? The kind of guy that would hit on your significant other in front of you.
I thought you were gonna say little sister.
That too.
That's great.
They both would do that.
Yeah.
Drake would do it in a way that's kind of slimy, and Dame would just look you in the eye and be like, "Oh, that's your little sister. She's hot." You're like, "Whoa, that's rude."
Yikes.
That's really rude. She over 18? No. Oh, she's still hot.
He'll ask later.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We're going to Atlanta. Age of consent is 16. We're fine. All right. Party.
He was dating Aaliyah. He was. I believe she was of age at the time, though.
She was of age, but still, there was an age gap.
Yeah.
Like I feel like he couldn't date a woman his own age because if she said, "Nigga, please," he would lose his shit.
I could see that.
Charlemagne the God is not my favorite person. The Breakfast Club in general, to me, is not a very good even morning show as far as morning shows go. But when they have these type of episodes where someone like Dame Dash comes on, who, in his defense, in a very tepid defense of Dame Dash, I do feel like he was iconic for a certain age. If you're of a certain age, you remember him as being kind of the man behind Jay-Z.
And the man in front of the camera in Jay-Z's videos with the baller gut.
And he always told these stories of he made it this hard Scrabble way.
Yeah.
You know, I had to do guns, and then I had to drugs and guns, word. And he legitimized his criminal empire, the way he describes it, through hip hop, through Jay-Z. Now they have a clothing brand. They had all this stuff. These guys break up. Jay-Z ascends to billionaire status, and Dame Dash gets kind of left by the wayside. But a lot of guys who were kind of presenting as mafia don in the aughts, by the 2010s, just kind of go away, because as streaming comes into play, as we get stuck in these algorithmic loops, there's no mass culture to tell us what's cool anymore. So if I think Tyler the Creator is cool in 2012, you know what? He's going to be cool in 2025, because that's all I know. There is no MTV, there is no BET, there is no radio. And if there is radio that I listen to, it is probably of the nostalgic variety that plays me things from the mid to late 90s to the mid to early aughts. And that's the loop that I'm stuck in.
That's very interesting, because DJ Khaled said Tyler the Creator was not cool. But you can kind of see how DJ Khaled comes up at a different time, like an earlier time when you had the radio. That's specifically what he said. People don't play your stuff on the radio. People don't play it in the clubs.
No, and he's right. They don't. They don't. They play it maybe in a lounge.
Yeah.
Maybe at the right backpacky hip hop show.
Yeah, on a road trip.
But he didn't make dance music. Hip hop hasn't been dance music for a long time. Over a decade, I would say. And Dame is part of this era of danceable, lyrical hip hop is mass culture music. So he's always going to be iconic for that alone, because he existed before the algorithms. But he's had a bit of a fall from grace. Financially, the truth has come out. He's had divorces and lawsuits, bankruptcies, which is common when you have a lot of money. Bankruptcy, even if you're an artist, the reason why you file bankruptcy is to get out of contracts. I owe people too much money. I'm filing bankruptcy in the company's name. I'm part of the company. Now I'm named in it. Media is going to go crazy with it, especially because, like you said, he spent so much time being a repugnant rich person. Look at my money. These are the guys that do this.
Yeah.
Look at my watch. Look at my jewelry. Look at me pour expensive alcohol on a woman because fuck her. Right? These are the guys that went to the club and never left the club.
Right.
We're going to bring hip hop into the club, and this is where we're staying. We're locked in here now, guys. Dame Dash went on the Breakfast Club, and he gave me so much joy that I was behind schedule.
Real quick, that sounds like a reality show, Locked in the Club with Dame Dash.
Locked in the Club with Dame Dash.
You're never going to leave.
Last week, Susan lost the champagne challenge. She couldn't handle the Ciroc.
So true.
I'm now.
You young people call lies cap. No cap. Don't lie. That's cap. That's a lie. Now you understand. Jason Miles, your inner city interpreter.
rap genius for the Breakfast Club.
So Dame Dash told a bunch of things on the Breakfast Club that may or may not be true. I don't care because the way he said it was so entertaining to me. And we're going to watch multiple Dame Dash clips because they're entertaining to me. So fucking sit back and let's enjoy some Dame Dash greatest hits. These are the top 8 Dame Dash greatest hits on the Breakfast Club appearance.
I'm the chairman of Revolt right now. So you never sold drugs, have you?
Yeah, I did.
So when what?
Quarter spoon.
You already said quarter spoon.
I sold quarter spoon. I didn't say I was a kingpin.
You weren't a king nothing. You was a pigpen. Damn. Just let me teach. If you don't know, listen to the teacher. I'm teaching you right now because this is a business you don't know. I bet my house is bigger than yours. I bet all my houses are bigger than you. I bet I have a better.
How old are you,
stop.
man?
And it ain't no disrespect, but I kind of think you're gay.
Jesus.
Wait, okay, I'll keep playing it.
He's a
You just
CK.
act a little gay.
You got a problem with gay people?
Not at all. I've got a problem with people that pretend they're not gay. You're dumb. I said the companies I started, because that's what you do. You twist things around, and that's what's dangerous about you, and that's gay. You're a huckleberry.
I think you're lying.
The curtain, y'all in the coffin. I would never. This is uninspiring. It's just dirty and all that shit. You're a girl. You clean this shit up.
Oh.
This is why I think that nigga sucks. Even Eric W said, wow. Like the last line, you're a girl, clean this shit up. I would have been like, I'm going to beat the dog shit out of your diabetic ass.
Oh my gosh. Oh, you could laugh until that last part. Wait a minute, what? It's a little too real.
The way he calls Charlemagne gay, though, was when did you know you are gay?
Just like that interview.
Just like that interview. And that's what made me laugh about the gay shit.
It's a ridiculous way to call someone gay. His reasoning is oh my god, you have to laugh at this version.
I feel like Coach Lick says he dresses like Lynn. Deathbird. Bill Burr did do it better because Bill Burr approached it the right way. Hey, why are you guys so fucking homophobic? Stop being so fucking homophobic, dude. But calling dude you're gay.
So dumb. Can you imagine a meeting with him?
Bet my house is bigger than yours.
See,
that nigga pulled out my daddy can whoop your daddy's ass.
I know.
Come on, man. You can't pull out. Look, hold on, Toussaint.
What? What? Passport brodom on high.
I saw that picture and I fell the fuck out.
Jesus.
Coach Lick says, Jason, as your attorney, I advise you to stop. And you know what's funny? Coach Lick says, do not click through.
Yes. Yes. Megan is still watching the show and she's like, this is the show I was in. Cedric, what did you do?
She was like, these niggas is too much.
That's why they said not to watch the show beforehand.
Yeah, this man get knocked out with his ass in the air.
That was wild.
The comments on that, because I always read comments on those videos in a New York accent.
Oh God. What's wrong with you?
Because they're all written to me like you and your homies talking over a garbage can on fire.
I've never done that. Never had a conversation with a person like that.
I told you that at the studio there was a rapper named Andre Nicotina that shot a video and he lit a garbage can on fire. And in the back, they let him do it, which is a total fire hazard, by the way.
Sounds like it.
That is how deadly that place was. We didn't have a sprinkler system.
Oh.
So he lit this garbage can on fire and did a video where they're rapping over the fire. And people shot all kind of videos. Once a month, Tucson, someone would come in. They shoot videos every day. Once someone would come in, hey, is this the place where Andre Nicotina had the garbage can on fire?
Oh, wow. He's iconic.
Can we light the garbage can on fire? It's like, dude, we don't have a metal garbage can, by the way. They're all plastic. Like, stop trying to light them on fire, dude.
Wow.
Bring your own garbage can. We can just bring our own light on fire? Yeah. Oh, okay, done.
It's ridiculous.
True story. True story. To make things sad.
No, I don't want to see anything about Bad Baby or.
I really was, dude, I was in tears watching that.
She makes me sad. That David guy, that makes me sad, and that skeeves me out.
Who's David?
David is the guy who had the 15-year-old girl body decomposing in a car, like near his house or something.
What was it doing there? I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. I shared that with you?
No, he is. He's a music artist. Apparently, he's Christian also. The girl's name is Celeste, and apparently he had a relationship with her since she was like 11.
Gross. Okay, we can stop.
Yeah.
You win. You win. You win.
Yeah. Very disturbing.
You know
Very
who else
sad.
is Tracy Ellis Ross?
She's doing this a lot lately. I understand this is like her thing, but I feel like it's a little more lately. Yeah. Dr. Claus said we can stop now. I don't know if that was for me or for you. Let's assume it's for you.
Dr. Claus said I didn't think it was her until I zoomed in. Tracy Ellis Ross is a very attractive woman, and I think she is part of something that I never thought I would see in my lifetime, which is people actually appreciating the beauty, the maturity, the aging process of women. Women are kind of stuck at 25. That's it. You're 25, that's where you're going to fucking stay. What does Leonardo DiCaprio say? Once they hit 25, I don't fucking want them anymore. All these old dudes that prey on very young, women with stars in their eyes. For years, they passed over the scrumptiousness that is the grown woman.
I mean, I will say this. Like, we can celebrate her being celebrated as an older woman. Mm-hmm. But she still looks young. I mean, it ain't going to be... I mean, all right, some people still after Helen Mirren. That's cool.
Helen Mirren. Have you ever seen Helen Mirren?
She's amazing. It's not exactly that kind of celebration. It is not really inclusive. It is a certain kind of older woman that we are celebrating.
You're not talking about me, because if your hair is gray, then I'm here to stay.
We all know you prefer AOC now. We know that you would prefer her grandmother even more.
Probably. What is my famous line? Is your mom hot?
Abuela OC. That's the one you want.
You need to have a bad hip. Right? You have to fart when you yawn.
Wow. That's a thing.
That's the thing. When you're old, you have to struggle to get out of a chair. If these aren't things that we're doing together, helping each other through, there's really no reason for me to be there. I'm 48. I am in the back nine of life. I am going to constantly be deteriorating. I would love to deteriorate with someone else at around the same pace.
She ain't deteriorating.
I'm sure there was a lot of snap, crackles, and pops when she got into that position.
I don't think so. You know, what's interesting about her is that she said she had a very hard time accepting her body. I think because she is biracial.
Biracial.
She was around a lot of white folks, and she said she just took her time to accept the booty. She just did not like it when she was young. So at least I feel like it's nice that she is accepting her body now. She is compelled to post thirst traps. So is Jeremy Logan. Shout out to him. If a dude can do it, if Hassan Piker can do it, any of these other thoughts can do it. Why not Tracy? Go for it.
I mean, I feel what you're saying, and I don't think I have to agree with you. I have to agree with you that there is a certain type of person, and she is dressing quote unquote young. Like, I don't think I dress young. I think I look like a dude in
You
his
don't?
late 30s. Who the fuck young? They're all wearing baggy. They're all trying to look like me in my high school senior year. I don't fucking
You
want to look
were
like
the
you.
homecoming king.
Your mom was the fucking homecoming.
You were the homecoming
You're the
king.
fucking-
A literal crown on your head. This is before Wakanda.
Why are you hating on that picture? It's a great picture. That's black. That picture is black. Did you bother to read the interview in that picture?
I read the first question and I was like, oh my good heavens.
Were you like,
Sweet
Jason
baby Jesus.
hasn't changed? Can you
Yes.
read and go, you know what? The principles this man had about speaking for the poor as one of them. He's been on point since 1995.
That was not the first question. And I only read the first question and I was like, wow. I need to talk to my therapist about this.
What was the first
I need her to decode this for me.
What was the first question?
The first question is about where you would visit. And then you were just like, I would go to Australia. Oh, they got Aborigines there. I would go to Africa. Oh, too many Negroes. I would go to Florida, as if there's no Negroes there. I would go to Disneyland. I was like, what? What is going on here? This man is bonkers off the wall. And I was like, listen, I know I pay you. You're my therapist. I would like to spend this session talking about Jason. Never mind that stuff about my mom. This takes precedence right now. Because I need to know what this means.
Why is he mad at Devon Franklin and MC Hammer?
So weird.
Well, it worked out well for Devon. He's a very powerful man in Hollywood.
Worked out well for Tracy too. Let's look at something else.
Before we went on air, I was talking about a movie that
Greg Palast?
That's Greg Palast. Yeah, I also send myself serious things.
He's an icon. I recognized him right away. That was interesting.
He came on the show. I don't know if you ever saw that episode. Greg
No,
Palast came on the show to talk about Flowers of the Sun. Moon. I don't remember the name of it. Flowers of the Moon. It is it's a good episode. I like Greg Palast.
I like him a lot.
Very to the point. It was actually, that clip to me is actually kind of sad because he was really close with RFK, and him and RFK like written together a lot of articles about corruption, right? That's kind of Greg Palast's beat anyway.
Yeah.
And he felt that RFK's brain got broke kind of during COVID.
Everyone says it's the worms. That's so interesting that he says his brain got broken. Of all things to say, Greg. But yeah, no, I've mentioned on the show, I said that RFK Jr. has a voice for radio. And I was like, who would listen to this guy on the radio? And then I was like, I used to listen to this guy on the radio. I used to listen to RFK Jr.'s show on the radio on WBAI. And this was back when he was an environmentalist.
That's what Greg Palast. Yeah, that's what they were talking about. Because Greg Palast's beat, again, if your beat is corruption, you're probably going to talk about environmental degradation, especially in the urban core.
Yeah.
Just something that Palast covers well. If you guys don't know Greg Palast's work, I think some people may look at him almost comical because of the way he talks. He does
because of his getup, his sleuth journalist
scheme on the QT, right? He's got the hat with the little thing that says press in it. He wears an overcoat. It's just kind of a little bit of a bit to make what he's saying interesting and to kind of grab someone in. That's really all it is. But when you listen to the context of what he's saying, he's a very serious reporter. And he's also, I do love where I'm from. I think it's the reason why I love Mike Davis. Greg Palast always has that in him as well. He's a Californian, and he kind of uses California as a way to explain broader explain corruption on a broader scale by using the immediacy of just California. I think so. I really dig Greg Palast. And Greg, if you're watching, which you're probably not, love to have you back on the show. But Toussaint off air, and I feel comfortable to say this, was making fun of Pascal. There's a movie that I do want to watch Monday for Monday music movie night, and it's called Rappin'.
Oh, you talking
and
about?
I feel like I'm the only person that saw it. And Rappin' stars a very young Mario Van Peebles. And in the early days of rap, it was really looked at as this passing fad. And I was talking to a friend the other day, and he was like, he was a little older, and he said, I didn't think rap was going to last. Because I think people forget that even young people in the community didn't necessarily dig it. And so, like many passing fads, Hollywood wanted to try to make some money off of it. So you have this rush to make movies about urban life. So you have Break-In and Beat Street, and kind of this movie that falls on the wayside because I think the dancing really took precedent in this moment. But Rappin' comes out at the same time. Rap, what the irony is, rap is the thing that outlives, even though we talked about breakdancing a few weeks ago, it still definitely exists. Graffiti never went away. But as far as these things being part of the broader hip hop culture that everyone embraced, the only thing that really stayed, in my opinion, you may disagree, is rapping.
I feel it fits into the American culture of individualism.
And not graffiti though.
Graffiti, like, to be honest, it's been done since the cave paintings, right? This is just a different form of it. I think it's done in places where you can hate it. I love artistic graffiti, but I don't like gang graffiti when it's just writing.
Yeah.
It'll make you hate it. So.
It will. And I never understood people's love of early Basquiat when he was Samo. Like, dude, Samo is everywhere. I'm like, so?
I'm not a fan of any Basquiat personally.
Well, why? You don't like pop art, right?
No, Keith Haring is my guy. Maybe that's it.
Why?
It just fits into my aesthetic. I like big chunky figures and like Fisher Price kind of things. Something a kid with those weird fingers of theirs can just pick up. That's why I like Adobe Illustrator too. Just big clean lines and just big shapes. I like it.
Sounds like you're talking about me.
Hey, just
I'm just a big doughy figure. I'm just a big doughy figure.
And a baby can pick you up.
My baby can pick me up.
Oh,
Don't you?
I saw this clip of this movie and I'm torn because I want to watch the movie, but I also, people are like, hey, we're going to watch the other episodes of Nothing But a Good Time. I'm like, look, we can do it all. We can do it all. But we must watch this ridiculous film where, you know, interpersonal problems are solved through hip hop. And this is also what we learn with the breaking movies, right? These crews have beefs that are like violent beefs. They're grimacing at each other like, you're a fucking neutron and you're not a neutron. You're a fucking flamboyant Frito and we're gonna fight at the breakdance spot at Breakdance Park where the burnout cars are. We're going to breakdance this away and no one's going to be there to judge it, but we're going to breakdance this off and we're just going to know internally who served who in the battle for supremacy of silly crew names.
Hollywood was fascinated by dance battles.
I mean, West Side's When You're a Jet.
They thought of it as West Side Story. And I've heard people like Crazy Legs and other dancers like, that's really not what's going on here. You're thinking Broadway. This has roots somewhere else. I mean, he also said it was very difficult. Like, there's glass on the ground and hard, and he's like, it's not an easy, fun thing. You really battling it out.
It's fucking crazy to me because I am from an inner city, urban environment, whatever you want to call it, hood. I'm from one of those places. And I've never seen anybody be like, man, fuck you, nigga. You so fake. I gotta go home because it's getting late. Like I never saw, like that never happened where I'm from. I don't know. Again, I don't know about New York. I feel like once a problem happened, like dun 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 dun.
Oh my God.
No, that's not what happened to some.
Conflict resolution in New York City.
That's not what conflict resolution. No.
Yes, West Side Story dancing gangs. Sharks versus Jets. Who you got?
So in this, there's a court case that Tucson says these niggas are arguing. They're rapping in court. And then she looked at Pascal. She's like, is this how you handle all your cases back in the day? His child support is way too high, and that's not going to work, my guy. We need to bring it down real low. Because if not to jail, he'll go.
Then he's like, the remix. Check your body. Check your body.
I'm caught in a body jack. Quickly object.
I'm caught in a body jack. Oh, it's Pascal. Not now. I'm hot. Mr. Robert, please take your seat.
Oh God, we haven't even played the clip yet.
No, we haven't. Poor Pascal. He's not even here.
Body check.
He denied all the claims.
We when you said that he was in court rap, the picture in my head when you said he had a duck tail.
Yeah, duck tail.
You said he had a duck tail. Oh my God. Whew, okay.
You said he was wearing Lee jeans.
I
could definitely see Pascal in Lee jeans.
May I approach the bench, Yana? And that nigga moonwalks to the bench.
Pascal.
Okay. I'm so sorry for anyone watching that was like, I thought this was going to be about Katrina. Well, the first hour, we were very serious. The first hour and 11 minutes, very serious show, totally on topic. This is what we do in the champagne room. We have a little more fun. Sometimes we react to silly videos, but we always have a message, even in the reaction. And the message number one is walk away from all fights. Unless you are truly cornered and you have to. But if someone's just calling you a name and it's on concrete, oh, walk away. Walk away.
Mm-hmm.
You can call me all the names. You can call my girl all the names too. Maybe she is.
Oh.
Maybe she is.
Wow.
Fuck you and that Sadiddy ass bitch. Nah, well, she's kind of snooty.
Honey, he has a point.
Yeah. I mean,
terrible.
Honey, listen to the man. Oh my God. Kushlik says real fighting words. You misunderstand dialectics. And that goes to Twitter fights. Walk away. Walk away. Don't respond. Don't respond. Walk away. Close your computer. I did that. I was ready. I was so at the ledge, Tucson.
Yeah.
My hands were shaking. Like in the movie where they're like, "Is the red wire or the green wire? Which one is it? Quickly. 10, 9."
It is such a cliche. Jesus.
My hands were shaking at the computer, right? I was getting ready to look. Am I on social media? Yeah. Do I try to have fun with it? Yes. Am I really bad at it? Oh God, yes. I am horrible at it. Tucson goes, Jason, you should ask more questions. You know what questions I want to ask? Here's 4 Judas Priest albums. Which ones are your favorites?
The one with the razor blade on the
like those are and maybe 2 people go, oh man, I really love Sad Wings of Destiny. And I will respond back to that person. I have made social media friends through these music posts. Mm-hmm. I see what they post. And that's fun for me. That's a lot of fun. But as I was getting ready to upload a clip or something, I saw this post. And it was about Anna Kasparian is on some site where you pay money and you can get a FaceTime call with her. And they were comparing her to Patrick Bet-David. They said Patrick Bet-David charges $800 a minute and Anna Kasparian charges $15 a minute. And I was like, so? Like, I don't really give a shit. I don't give a shit. Like, what is either one of them going to do? Are they going to do anything cool in that minute? For $800, I want to see Patrick Bet-David's fucking uncircumcised hog.
Wow.
I do. I want him to fucking twirl that shit around. I wanted to do jumping jacks in that minute. It's $800. There's nothing
You
you're
know
gonna
what?
say to me. What'd you say?
Yeah, so you know what? Not gonna lie, same. $800 is rent.
That's a lot of fucking money. I'm
I don't
paying you
want this talk. I want more.
I want to see fucking nips. Pat, take that shit out. I don't care if you haven't shaved your chest today. Take that shit out, those weird curly hairs. I want to see it all. Turn around. Let's see the back. I got a minute. I got to get the most out of it. Dance for me, Pat, like Shakira.
Oh.
I look down at the when I start saying this, the chat fucking moves all of a sudden.
It does.
Moving a mile a minute. But what pissed me off was what makes this any different? And the people that posted it were the fucking Vanguard people. What makes it any different from those people doing Patreon content? You want to see us call Anna Kasparian a piece of shit behind a paywall? You got to pay for it. Who gives a shit?
What is the analysis though if she charges 15 and he charges 800?
That she can't make as much money as him? I don't know. I don't care.
I feel like 15 is for the proletariat. She's making it affordable. She's doing the fight for 15. She's doing it for the people.
Either way, what do you have to? I don't give that much of a shit. Like, seriously. Like, who cares? I've never felt the need to use Cameo. And I thought Cameo was like kind of cute early on when aspiring artists would be like, they put their money together and instead of paying for a PR campaign, this one band got a bunch of heavy metal people that were on Cameo and got them to say, they paid for them to say that their song was good. And they strung the clips together and made a video out of it.
This is why ethics in games journalism is so important. Continue.
But it's like not even everyone's doing it, but this is the business model. And those companies contact you when you get to a certain point. And if one of those companies contacted me and they're like, hey, Jason Miles, you fit within our guidelines of people we think are important. And we've had a few requests for you. So we want to put you in this thing and people can pay to talk to you. And we schedule a FaceTime call. I'd first asked, do I have to show my COG? And they were like, no, it's hog free. I'm like, oh, okay, well then whatever. I don't care. Nobody's going to call. I don't care. I wouldn't care. Because I would feel very comfortable that no one's going to want to FaceTime me because here I am. Here the fuck I am. 4 days a week, sometimes 5.
Sometimes 7, Jason.
Don't remind me.
We need to talk about that. 7 days a week.
If that's why you're mad at this woman, then you're not mad at this woman. You're jealous of this woman. And you're jealous of Patrick Bet-David. And you're jealous of everyone on there.
Even
that is
Jimmy.
the most, right? That's the most why not me bullshit I've ever seen in my life. Who gives a so I wanted to write like, why do you care? Like, why do you fucking care about this fucking chick so much? Like, how much can you juice out of this one individual? Be like everybody else and juice the CK shooting.
Don't use the word juice, please. No one is juicing anything out of Anna. Please don't.
These are my deltoids.
No.
My deltoids. Like my body.
Oh my God.
Like how much can you talk about someone before someone in your own audience goes, all right, guys, we get it. You don't like this broad. But can we move on? Can we? Please?
On to what?
And I guess that's the thing. What happens when you don't have anything to say? You're not really producing a show. You're commenting on things that have already happened in a gossipy way for a very small audience. And you kind of have to create gossip when there is none. It just seems boring. It seems trite. It's hackish.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many hacks out there. You said the other day, you were like, BreadTube is dead. And I agree with you. People don't give a shit anymore. Don't give a shit anymore. I'm about to schedule more global shows coming up in October and November. They won't get good views at all.
Yeah.
At all. A few hundred. But it's not like they got great views beforehand.
You guys don't want to know what's going on in Nepal?
That might be, because that's like a hot thing right now, right? That actually might do well. But and I'm, we're going to do what we want to do on this channel. It's not like we're drawn by what's popular. But man,
Jason, somebody just gave you a Jew card in the chat.
Jason is an ethnic Jew. What?
Put it on the screen.
What does that mean? Is that because I'm a Hebrew Israelite right now?
I don't know why. Jason, as an ethnic Jew, and I don't even mean like that ham guy in HW reporter, you have a Jew card.
I don't even know what that means.
I feel like you need to tell Ben immediately. Ben, guess what?
Ben? Guess what?
She said she's joking.
Guess who's coming over for cider?
The card has already been dispensed.
I could sell one of those before I could sell a black card.
Oh, God.
We got your Jew cards, your Oriental cards. Oh. Can you imagine the people that just found this show right now because of Cedric and Megan? They're like, oh, shit.
God, what is this show?
This took a turn for the offensive.
It was funny when Vivek started to learn what this show was.
You saw his eyes get big. You saw the light. You literally saw the light come on. You literally saw the light come on. He's like, oh, these people is crazy. And he didn't say people in his head.
As little Brazzy would say, Vivek is a down-ass fool. He a down-ass fool.
We are the only show in this universe that is not afraid to talk about little Brazzy and No Jumper.
And No Jumper. The pox, that is, No Jumper.
A pox on your house, Adam 22. A pox on your house. Your graffiti-filled house that smells of pearls, spilt brown liquor, and meth smoke.
Mm-hmm.
I think Adam 22's ears just perked up. Like, did you hear that? Service to the force. We're not afraid to take on the big questions.
Mm-hmm.
Those questions are, should Mexicans say the N-word?
We have
I don't care. You can say whatever you want. You really can. You can say whatever you want. I have no fucking jurisdiction on who says what and why. I may not hang out with you.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh. No, sorry.
Because I nut quick.
That still.
Wow.
Coach looks at Edgar's catch and stray.
I can't believe we have a little boozy drop. Oh my God.
We have a little boozy drop. We have this. It is the crack of drama. It is the crack of outrage. That's what it's really all about if you want to be successful. Can you make people angry? And if you want to make people angry, there's a place for you in entertainment. In online entertainment, there's a place for you. Can you do something outrageous? Can you staple your ball bag to your leg? If you can staple your ball bag to your leg, get shot in the dickhead with a paintball gun, there's still a place for you in online entertainment. It may not be for you very long, but there's a place for you. Can you say incendiary things that make people upset?
Mr. Beast ain't have to do that.
Being good, you can only do that for so long. And then people are going to try to find out where the tarnish is.
Oh,
Right.
they found it.
I mean, the whole thing was a shitty project, in my opinion.
Yes.
But people are going to look for it. When you're stapling your nuts to a wall, nobody cares. Nobody cares if you sexually assaulted 45 women. You stapled your nuts to the wall. We just want to watch you fucking do horrible things to yourself.
And they have sexually assaulted 75 women. There's more news every day about artists and YouTubers and streamers. And it's like, what is going on here?
Dusty's like, who is that?
What are we talking about now?
Who's stapling their nuts to a wall? I'm sure if you type in Staples nuts to wall, the list of videos that you get. I can't look that up because I'm still getting fucked up from looking up Cholos getting jerked off. Cholos getting jerked off.
Yeah, that's true.
Cholos getting jerked off has destroyed.
So stupid.
I wanted to show you the picture. It was there's an artist, a real respected artist that draws these pictures of a different side of Cholo life. But now it's like this was all before, social media and taking shit down. So maybe that guy was like, I'll never upload my art to social media. It's a cancer. Maybe he said that. I don't know. But trust me, I worked with the guy and that was the tattoo on his arm. Someone says your algorithm was destroyed long before the show.
This is true. Cooked, as the kids say.
Jennifer Sage says, why would anyone look for that shit, man? Unlike whoever did the Warhol banana tape to a wall, for Jesus Christ.
Warhol banana.
I just wanted you guys to see that so you knew I wasn't making it up. Because right now you think I'm making up that there's some guy painting pictures.
Oh, Jason.
I did not, just like I didn't make up a movie about people in court solving their problems through hip hop. I really wish I could show you.
Yeah, I know.
I'm gonna have to call people up that worked at that place and be like, dude, am I lying?
I'll vouch for you, Jason. Then they're like, psych, remember when you ate my sandwich out the fridge?
We got in trouble. I think I told you because that place was a tattoo shop, piercing place, clothing store, sex shop, and smoke shop. All in one. It's in East Side San Jose. Anyone watching right now from the Bay Area, from East Side San Jose, they know exactly the place I'm talking about. It used to be called Bulldogs. You guys know I hope it's still there.
Sanitary.
But we would sell meth pipes. That was like the main thing we sold was meth pipes. And that's actually why I quit, actually, because I was like, this drug has destroyed my family, and I just don't know facilitating in the sale of paraphernalia. But you can't sell a meth pipe as a meth pipe. Like, people don't buy drug paraphernalia under their real names, right? Like a bong is a water pipe. It's not a meth pipe. We had numbers for them. It's a number 4. And that's also where I learned when you sell a crack pipe, you have to give them a screen.
You have to give them a screen?
A screen, yeah.
What does that mean?
There's a screen in there. Filter out the bad crack.
Oh, there's bad crack. Oh, crack was bad. You blow my mind.
This is a true story. True story.
Moldy crack, and you have to take the whole out.
Like someone's going, like, but where's your screen? Where's your screen, Ethel?
Rookie mistake.
Oh, Jesus, over here smoking. What's next? You're gonna try to smoke it through a can? Come on, we're civilized here.
You have to wash it in baking soda when you get it home. Baking soda and water. It's like strawberries.
There's rituals to drugs, right? Just like there's rituals. Like, I like to make coffee a specific way.
Yes,
because it is a ritual for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jason always tells me vein to tap. Hey, you start on your feet first if you're really a user. That shit with the arms is for the movies.
Oh, I never believed you as straight edge, by the way. Go ahead.
I'm not part of a movement. I just think drugs aren't for me. So they were called incense burners, and people would either they would call it by number. They say, "Can I get an incense burner?" And one of the jokes that the owner made to me, he goes, "The funny thing is, the incense oil that would go inside of it is not even in the same room as the pipes. We actually have the oil, and it's outside by the tattoo place where the tattoos were." And so one day we were having way too much fun because we sold all this drug paraphernalia. And someone had left these glasses that look like highway patrol glasses. You know what I'm talking about? You know kind of what I'm talking about? Say again?
I think so.
We call those cokehead glasses.
Okay.
If you have those glasses on, either you're a cop or a cokehead. There's no in between. No in between. And so we had these glasses, and we were all taking stupid pictures with them. We had like salt that you would sell, and we chopped up lines of salt, and then we also sold the glass straws. So we took pictures of ourselves doing fake lines and with the cokehead glasses, and we're using all the paraphernalia. And we were like, let's actually burn the incense and see how this thing works, because we had never done it. And no one ever bought the actual oil that was supposed to go into this glass pipe. And we're not smart people, right? We're just a bunch of dumbasses having way too much fun. And so we went and got the oil, and we started putting it in the pipe. My buddy has on the cokehead glasses, and we're in the sex smoke shop is in the back of the store where that kind of stuff belongs, right?
Of course.
Dildos shouldn't be front and center. Always dildos in the back.
Fair. That's what she said.
Damn it. And so my buddy, who's a big time tattoo artist now, has the cokehead glasses on. We've poured the oil in this glass pipe, and he lit it, and he's lighting this pipe, and he's twisting it, right? Because the oil is like popping on. It's like boiling. It's fucking oil. And we're heating it up. Like, this isn't how this thing is supposed to work at all. There's no reason to put oil in this thing. That's a lie. And as he's twisting it, and we're taking pictures because we think it's funny, customers walked in, Toussaint.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
The look on those people's faces, and all he could say with cokehead glasses on, twisting this glass pipe was, hey.
God. What the hell?
Those people were like, we were just here for a tattoo. We're like,
Wow. That sounds more exciting than my job at the sobriety shop with the psychics in the back. And my job selling sex toys at the warehouse, which we call the trap house.
the trap house for sex toys.
This is small businesses in America right now. This is what we're doing. The backbone of the economy.
People buy sex toys more than I thought they did. People try to return sex toys more than you think they would.
Underwear too.
Political Pain says, do psychics help with sobriety?
Sometimes, yes.
You're like, let me see your, oh shit, smoking crack, huh? Not using a filter. Yeah, you might want to quit. Definitely want to quit by Tuesday.
Quit by Tuesday.
Because what we're seeing here, unfiltered Tuesday is just not going to work out well for you. Next.
Well, one of the things they do is they provide a place for people in recovery to spend their money, right? So you can get addicted to the psychics instead.
Really?
Yeah.
That's.
I mean, you spend the whole time talking about you, and for a lot of people, they don't have that anywhere else. So.
I never thought of it that way. That's interesting.
It's one reason why people like horoscopes and, sitting down with somebody to talk about their charts and stuff.
I fucking hate that more than anything. That is such Libra behavior. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? Acting like a douchebag only responds to people that are born after August 19th? Oh, get the fuck out of here.
That's so funny.
Johnny, when were you born? January 4th. Douchebag. Okay?
Can I say something that I'm afraid is going to open a can of worms?
Please open the worms.
It would be you opening. Well, you letting the worms out, I guess. I would be opening it, and you would be letting. Who let the worms out?
Oh.
Nope. RFK Jr. He let the worms out. So I was thinking about you today.
I don't know. I don't like where this is going. Okay, and you warned me about the worms.
Yeah, I was thinking about you and Hassan Piker.
Oh, damn. Worms. Now they're snakes.
And I'm like, you know what? What is Jason's thing about Hassan Piker? And then I figured it out. You are both hottie Leo Mondem. And it's like a magnet, and you're repelling
each other.
You're too much alike. Hottie Leo Mondem.
I don't think we're alike at all.
See, the difference is that he's a July Leo and you are an August Leo. And that is what accounts for the difference. Otherwise, we have nothing but sameness with the hottiness.
Younger. I think he's more attractive.
You're not 5'11".
Say again?
You're not 5'11".
I am tall enough to beat the shit out of you. Nothing.
Was the joke originally that you are 5'11", and I said that you weren't, implying that you're shorter?
Yeah.
I don't remember your original height anymore because
you're going to remember it as I stick my foot in your behind. You're gonna feel all 5 foot 10.5 inches.
You know who would never do that?
Hassan.
Hassan Piker.
Hassan Piker would never shove his foot up my ass.
July Leo.
July.
July Leo Tings.
He would never shove. Yell that shit out on a fucking crowded subway. Hassan Piker would never shove a foot up my ass.
Put that on a t-shirt. And then write Afro pessimism on the back.
Originally, we were going to play this clip from the movie Rappin', and I think we've surpassed its usefulness.
You gave a long intro. Jennifer Stage Team July Leo is funny AF.
Looks says Larry King. For those of you that haven't noticed, I've been working on. I changed my microphone setup because I want a radio job. Fuck this internet shit. I want someone to pay me a salary, and I want to read the news.
I absolutely can see that for you.
I would love to read the news. Yeah. Looks like there's a traffic stall on the 15 going northbound.
Oh. Jason in the helicopter. Talking about LA traffic.
You want to talk about my dream job? Someone hands me something to read. I don't have to write shit. Oh, fuck yeah.
That's that guy on The Simpsons, Arnie Pie in the Sky.
Hey, you're pie in the sky. Hey, everybody. Looks like it's smooth sailing for those going southbound on the 5. No traffic going into Mexico. But there is a backup crossing the border back into the U.S.
Yes,
traffic at 5, 10, and 15. Back to you, Susan.
Jason is definitely better on the radio than RFK Jr., whom I admit I did used to listen to on the radio.
That guy has a voice that sounds like he gargles fucking barbed wire.
I don't remember what was wrong with him.
He had cancer or something, right?
It was something.
Yeah, it's not like he talks like that on purpose.
No. And it's like struggle for him, it sounds like, all the time.
Yeah, he can't, like, dude. Imagine fucking that guy.
Oh. How about no? How about no?
You gotta be like, dude, old man winner, you gotta do something. Get a fucking mask or something. Do some Darth Vader for me. You
know what's interesting about him? I've been hearing and seeing videos and stuff. Just, it's been coming into my orbit. This thing about white people in the United States being different from white people in Europe. So okay. I think it's an observation, not just of white people, but of black people. I definitely remember this one video, this one black girl lady. She said she went to Europe and she was surprised that the white people were not red. They were regular white people color, I guess. And she's like, in the United States, the white people are red, or they're like really tanned or something. They're just not like this color. And what I find interesting about RFK Jr. is that I hear white people saying, this man is red. Why is this man red all the time?
He tans.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
Enough for white people to remark on it? Like, what is wrong with this man's color?
Dude, people are just jealous because he fucking tans and he's ripped as shit.
I think the idea is supposed to be that whatever the latitude of Europe is not the same as the United States.
Oh, that's tarded.
Dude, that's why people were making those kind of comments. Like, this is what they're supposed to look like. They're not supposed to be red in the United States.
I got some bad news for people. Go to Maine.
How about no? I'm joking.
I
It's fine.
I lived by the beach and I saw some pale ass people the other day that are not white. They were actually Mexican. I was thinking, oof. I was like,
I
that
have
must
no
suck.
problem with pale people. I don't like people tanning and I don't like people bleaching. I think everyone should just stay where
Bleaching?
they are.
Oh, you mean bleaching your skin?
Yeah.
I thought you
Just
meant your butthole.
no vibes cartel. Just like be where you are.
But what if you want to just get a nice base layer?
That's what Vibes Cartel said. He said, I have all these tattoos and I want to highlight them, so I bleach my skin. And it's like,
That doesn't make any sense at all.
don't do that.
That doesn't make any sense at all. I have tattoos and I just
Yes.
walk around. I was walking around like this the other day, dude. Just, I want to walk with I was feeling so good yesterday. It was like a nice day. I was walking around and yeah, had my shorts on, the good ones that someone said weren't striking distance from my knees. It's like,
Man, those are not regulation shorts.
these short. Did I show you the new ones?
No, please don't.
Oh, dude, you have to see these. Look at this. These are great. Look at these. Can you see?
Oh God, how did I know we were gonna go here today?
Look at this.
Here's the thing. I can't say that Hassan Piker would not do this.
He would not.
No, I feel like this still falls under Hati Leo Mandem Kings. That's the heading that this falls under.
Look at these though.
That's a lot of thigh meat, Jason.
Look how comfortable these are. Look,
That
look,
is
look.
a lot.
Look at this. Look what I can do.
Jesus, Jason. Dusty is snitching on Hassan. He said Hassan tans. Hassan, when he shows pictures of when he was young in Turkey, he had like olive complexion. And now he looks Irish. And I'm like, is this because he be indoors a lot streaming? This is his streamer complexion. What's going on?
Kushlik says this is the $15 carrying call.
I would call Anna for $15 and ask her about Hassan's streamer complexion. I would do that.
Hi, Anna, here for your call. Yeah, what does Hassan look like? What?
Virtuoso. It's just an emoji of a leg. Okay. This is the content that you would get if you were a patron.
Exactly. If you enjoy, this kind of content, you enjoy me finding shorts like these on the side of the road, then become a patron.
Outrageous. I'm trying to stop the podcast from hearing the trains and the sirens.
In a city. You live in a real city.
I do.
And when you walk around, it's like Jill Scott, living my life like it's golden, living my life like.
I tell my Ubers, you know what? You don't have to take me to my door. Just drop me off at that liquor store right there, and I'll walk. It's fine. The one with the broken windows.
Don't you ever disrespect me, guy right in front of the store. Don't you ever disrespect me like that, looking like, and that's too something.
I love him. I love that man. There's a video of him saying that he doesn't want like stop signs in New York City anymore. He's supposed to just cross the street when there's no cars like a real New Yorker, he said. And he's like, stop with all these bikes. This ain't Copenhagen.
I have to tell you something about that do you remember TJ, our booking agent?
Uh-huh.
He's blind.
Yes.
The first time we physically met TJ, we were on tour, me and my ex in New York City. He had booked a show for us in Brooklyn. And TJ walks around New York by himself. And it didn't hit me because it's just TJ, right? You don't really think like, oh, he's blind. Like you just, it's whatever. And you're walking with him and you're thinking, wait a minute. We are following him. He's crossing the street. Like I was physically scared. I was like, holy shit, man, you can't cross the street here like that. And he looked at me and he looks at me. Like, fuck is wrong with you? Oh yeah. Yeah. I wasn't built for that. I wasn't ready.
That's actually really interesting and funny. I'll say this also in New York State, when you go to sexual harassment classes, they
that's mandatory? Or just the same high school?
For certain jobs, it is mandatory.
Okay, that wasn't like a FAME high school because
no, not in the high school. I took it just out of high school because I ended up working for the state just out of high school. So they make you go every year. And one of the things that they tell you is that you're not allowed to touch your coworkers. Like they explain what touch might be okay if you have a certain relationship and rapport, but in general, you're not supposed to touch anybody except for their elbows.
Their elbows?
Yes.
That's why I don't want you to touch on me.
The reason is because blind people have said when people want to help us, they put their hands all over us. If you need to guide a blind person somewhere, you can just use 2 fingers and push on the back of their elbow to guide them somewhere.
Dude, I don't look. If I was lost in New York, I would feel real comfortable calling TJ because he's going to direct me properly. Where you headed, east or west? Then I'd have to feel stupid because I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Right? And then he'd probably even be like, what's in front of you? Okay, well then go this way, go this way, go this way. Don't touch blind people's elbows. I'm gonna put out. There's things I don't want you guys to do. Again, someone calls you a name, walk away. We don't fight on concrete, and don't touch people's elbows.
Kushlook says elbows are my most erogenous zone though.
Exactly. Don't touch. The last thing you want to do is touch the wrong person's elbows and they get all fucking bricked up on you. That is not where you want to be when Jesus comes.
Are elbows that serious? After the first sexual harassment meeting, I was like 18. We were working for the state, a bunch of 18-year-olds. We get out of the sexual harassment class and we are just touching each other's elbows with our elbows because that is what you do with your coworkers after sexual harassment.
It's like, why I tell you. Don't touch people's elbows. Don't do it. Don't listen to Toussaint and her fucking mustache twirling sexual harassment instructor. Don't fucking listen to that. Well, see. A bad touch would be the bottom, but a good touch would be the elbows.
Only in New York. You can do it when you can. I'll say honestly, I have taken the sexual harassment seminar a few weeks ago, and they don't advise that anymore.
Yeah.
They spend more time talking about trans people and illegal immigrants and what their rights are. They don't talk about blind people and their elbows anymore.
You're like, what you don't want to touch is the they, thems, and the illegals. Don't touch it.
They're like
they're abominations of the Lord.
No, if you're being sexually harassed and you're undocumented, you still have rights, that kind of thing. Also, if you work out of somebody's home and you're undocumented, you still have rights.
Wait a minute. I know where you work.
Yeah.
I feel real comfortable that they're not hiring anyone undocumented.
Yeah. Well,
I feel
look, look,
clean
look.
office. I don't
All
know.
all you gotta do is overstay your visa, man. That's all you gotta
I
do.
feel real comfortable that that is not a problem where you work.
You never know.
I know.
There is an office. It does get cleaned by people.
Oh my God. And they told them, hey, stop fucking touching the elbows of the people cleaning.
The people who work here.
They're doing their job. They don't need their elbows fucking caressed.
It's so funny
God.
that they dropped that from the classes.
It's not. It probably got people fucked up. Remember that list of things to do to get you fucked up?
Yeah, I could see maybe some lawsuits, and they were like, "Okay, let's take this out."
Can you imagine someone with their cane, like just trying to go home, and some asshole touches their elbow? The cane assaults must have fucking been through the roof. Jesus Christ. And in Midtown Manhattan, another caning by a blind man who was elbow molested by some do-gooder.
Jesus.
Don't do that. Don't dance in front of law enforcement.
No.
These are the list. Okay, look, the list of things not to do on TIR. Dance in front of law enforcement. Even passionately dance in front of law enforcement. Don't do it. Don't fight on asphalt or concrete.
Okay.
That's a quick way to die or have severe brain problems. If someone calls you a bitch, say thank you and walk away.
If Dame Dash tells you to clean the studio because you're a woman,
throw a drink in his face like you're an angry black woman in a reality show.
hey.
But seriously, so what? Fuck you, bitch. All right, thank you.
Pour champagne on him like you're doing. And repeat, I'm rich over and over. I'm richer than you.
Yeah. Yell if you want to stop them from fighting, if you want to like de-escalate, as they say, and as someone that is licensed in de-escalation by the state of California, simply tell them, bet your house ain't bigger than mine.
There you go. There you go.
I feel real comfortable. They would be so confused.
And then say, if you're listening to this, you're gay. Terrible.
List of things you shouldn't say after being called a bitch. That's why you're gay.
That's why you're gay. Not a good answer.
Not a good answer. Even if it is a gaggle of gays that is calling you a bitch, do not respond with that's why you're gay.
And don't write that on bullets. Do not put that on the bullet. It's bad.
Don't do that, and you may live to see another day.
I saw somebody post on Facebook, if you're reading this, I'm gay. Yeah. I was like, you know what? I like that better. I think if you just leave the gay shit alone altogether, don't make fun of those people. Yeah.
Just fuck you, bitch. Thank you. What?
Agreed.
Yeah. Agreed. I was acting bitch made. I walked in here sashaying like I own everything, making you feel bad.
No.
Wearing this Wham t-shirt. I mean, hey, I know how it looks.
With your Labubu.
I have a Labubu hanging off my fucking my wallet chain.
Because you're that model stylist guy. That's fine.
Right? Yeah. Like, I know how it looks. I apologize for ruining your day.
It's okay. I'm a Leo.
Yeah, that's what you say. Like, say all this goofy shit to them and then just walk away. They will leave you the fuck alone.
If you just internet meme them.
It's
Go
okay.
home.
Emily. It's fine. I'm sorry. And you will be left alone, and maybe you're cool as shit now. They're like, that motherfucker's crazy. I called him a bitch. He said, thank you. Told me he was a Leo. I bought him a beer. He had a Labubu hanging off his back pocket. The Labubu had a cigarette hanging out of his mouth. This guy is just not right. Like,
flaunting your Labubu.
I am very pro. Don't get into the fight. Walk away from the fight. There's no name they're going to call you. And again, that goes for online spaces as well. I told you, my hands were like,
I know. Well, can I tell you something? You and I have never talked about this.
oh shit. God, every time I'm drinking.
Sorry. I know you've seen it though.
I'm so scared. Every time you say that, every time you go, can I tell you something? It's worse than like a married couple. And it's like, I need you to sit down. It's like, what?
We need to talk about our relationship.
We need to talk about something. Oh, God. I have said that maybe twice in my life. Each time I said that, it was always followed by, what the fuck? It was like, okay, I just want you to know I love you, but I just found out that I have a child.
What? And then you said, I love you too, but I also just found out I have a child.
Twinsies!
Twinsies.
Yeah. You don't yell out jinx after that.
Right? No. Don't jinx the kids. So this is what happened.
But whenever Toussaint goes, we haven't talked about that. Mind you, her and I talk.
We do.
We talk like normal people. She could have been like, hey, Jason, by the way. But no, I'm going to wait till, late in the show when we're 3 hours in. And for some reason, double the view count is happening.
That is exactly what my therapist says. She's like, how come you always have a bomb to drop at 43 minutes into the session when you know we have 45 minutes? And I said, you know what? That's all the time we have for today. Thank you.
I'll see you next week on horrible shit Toussaint has to tell you. I've been holding in this pee for the last 45 minutes.
Are you really? And you're still drinking?
And because the pee wants to come out, like, just drink more and it'll go away. And the pee's like, that's not how pee works.
No, it's not. Well, let me make my confession thing.
Oh God.
So, you have a license in de-escalation. And we have discussed many times fighting online, arguing with people in the chat, jumping over your desk to fight with people in chat, arguing with people on Twitter, etc. I have always been on the side of don't do it. Don't do it.
Right now, I don't want to pee on myself. I'm trying so hard right now. If you guys see me fucking fidgeting in this chair, it's because I'm trying so hard, especially right now that she just did that. Not to piss on myself.
If you pee now, you will pee on everything because the inseam.
You sound like you're yelling at my kids. If you pee now, you will pee on everything. Everything your mother and I have done for you, you peed all over it.
No, it's because the inseam of your shorts is half an inch. So that means there's no buffer, man. It's just gonna come right out.
Why are you so okay? Say your thing. I'm trying not to pee.
I got into an argument in the comments of one of our videos with a viewer.
What did you say?
It wasn't my finest hour. Well, they were trashing me.
You personally?
Yes, they left a comment
Oh,
and they
good.
were like,
I'm so glad. First of all, thank you.
yeah.
I'm so tired of people telling me to eat all the dicks.
Yeah.
Tell these other niggas to eat dicks. No one ever tells Pascal to eat a dick.
No, they don't.
He's like got the golden fucking mouth for these people. Like, oh no, Pascal, you say it again. That fucking goon for a half hour at what you said. But that Jason guy, let him eat all the dicks. Let him eat dicks.
Everybody loves Pascal. I've never seen a bad comment about that man. Yeah, so this one was trashing me. They were like, I couldn't listen to this show. I was so happy when the woman was gone, but now she's back. What is this laughing thing? You laughed for 2 hours or something like that. And I was like, wow. I was like,
Someone left a comment. Was it the same person that left a comment that told me to be better?
oh,
I was like, fuck right off.
Person, I don't know. That's Melania Trump's line.
someone
Right?
said, I turn in and you're making fun of some guy in a fight. And I'm like, we have the same message in every fight video we watch. First of all, that's funny. That second of all, walk away. I always say walk away.
Melania's line is be best.
Look, if you're mad that there's heavy metal music, that we laugh, that we make fun of silly shit, go watch NPR. Go be lame somewhere else. This is not for fucking lame people. I don't want lame people to dig me. How's that sound?
Yeah.
And if you see me in the street, you want to fight, then, talk your shit, I guess. I don't give a shit. You're not going to do it, first of all. So fuck right off. We can't be everything to everyone. And if you're mad that people are having a good time, like that's why you're mad that a chick is laughing. Oh, double fuck right off. Oh, the fucking broad was laughing and I don't like it when women laugh. It makes me feel insecure.
Yeah.
Dude.
Makes me feel like they're laughing at my pee-pee.
Like there's enough outraged a-holes on the internet for you to watch. And this isn't for you. I don't know how to do that thing that you want, where I look into the camera and I go, look here, America, there's a problem in this world, and it's people that we both agreed suck, and we should get them fired from their jobs.
Yeah.
Everybody forgot what the last 20 years looked like for some reason, with a call to get everyone that they didn't agree with fired. Louis C.K. should lose his job because he's a shitty guy. Okay, he lost for a minute, and then he got it back. Right? You got what you wanted, and I don't know why you thought that it was going to end there, just with the bad people. Right? Because that's perspective, man. And if you think bitching about the chick laughing is going to make me go, we should have less laughter. We've had 4 comments that I don't give a fuck. I can't do this thing if I can't fucking laugh. This thing whole started with a laugh. Everyone I talk to, regardless of the seriousness of the conversation, we have to laugh. Am I serious? Probably 90% of the time. I'm pretty fucking serious. I'm boringly serious. I am the most boringly serious cat you'll be around. Derek Varn will tell you. Right? He made fun of me on the stream the other night. We were talking about sex shit. He's like, oh, you fuck like a nerd. Right?
He has said that before.
Right? Oh, you fucking lame-o. Oh, bet you never had an electrode up your ass. You've never been choked to completion?
My Lord. But yes.
Look, I feel like cats come here to see an interesting conversation and then to have some chuckles. And And it's not going to come at the expense of Ben Shapiro said this. I don't give a shit what Ben Shapiro has to say. He's not very high on my list of people that I give a fuck about.
Mm-hmm.
But I will show you some order to fights. I'll show you some horrible we can all laugh at horrible hip hop. It's to the point where we dig Big Rojo. We can't wait for another Big Rojo track to drop.
Jesus.
His style worked. Big Rojo, it worked on us. Okay? The offbeat, what the fuck is he saying, rhyming? Now I can't wait to hear, and I don't like it ironically. I'm like, I can't wait to. He talks about his life, and I believe everything he says. Remember the cocaine song he had? I like cocaine.
I don't remember that. That might have been while the woman was away on the show.
wait. But Toussaint, after he dropped the cocaine song, before he dropped the song about his work, he like worked on a farm.
Oh wow!
He's like, working all day is hard on the farm. Remember, he was like baling hay and shit.
Wow.
I think it's fucking. It has to be a bit at this point. I don't know. But these are the things that we watch, right? The Brazzy videos. We go from laughing to being serious about the implications that this kid. Like, you can't say these things, young man. But we also make fun of the fact that life has kind of changed.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the shit we're seeing this isn't Katrina looting because you're gonna starve and die if you don't break into the store. This is motherfuckers that just want to be dope.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about all that stuff. Chuckles and seriousness. And if you're mad, and I also love the fact people think Pascal doesn't laugh, and this is the goofiest Negro alive.
He made a song. Men.
Like came on the screen.
He is so goofy. We talking about the male loneliness epidemic.
Men. Yeah. Because ultimately, you wish you could hug some of these people sometimes, right? Mm-hmm. I do. I can't speak for you, you fucking elbow toucher, but there's moments where I'm like, oh man, if that cat just had a hug, maybe he wouldn't be doing this. This is why I feel that. I feel that seriously. I feel that seriously because I spent I do it still. I'm bad. Giving a shit about people, and actually was paid to hug them in some capacity. When I worked before I started doing this full time. Political Pain says Jason and I have hugged in real life, but he did not touch my elbows because it's rude. It's rude, Joe. It was Jason who referred MT to HR. There's going to be bad comments. People are going to voice their opinions. And one of the things that you told me that I'm going to relay this to everyone else. And as my hands were shaking, as I was going to contact MT to ask her what I should do, because it felt like the most serious thing in the world to me. She goes, when you respond back, you give their comment validity. And then I did this wacky thing that I think sometimes we don't do. I shut my computer. And then I just walked away. Yeah. I went outside and I went to fucking walk like MT down the streets of the Bronx. Living my life like it's golden. Living my life like it's golden.
Yeah. No, you have your own theme song, and it is Tracy Ellis Ross's mom.
I'm coming up. The world to know. I let my thighs show.
Yes, you do.
Because I started doing these leg workouts and I can see the difference. I'm like, let these hoes know.
Jesus.
You know what it all started with? This is going to sound really bad. I'll be honest. I'm just being honest. My son's mom had these shorts, these running shorts that looked like a pair of shorts I had. And I grabbed them by mistake.
Oh.
And I put them on. And I was like, these look great. and I took them from her. And she was like, I don't want them back. Like, you've ruined these shorts. And I took them on tour. And there's a handful of people that watch the show that have actually seen Bitter Lake live. This was like definitely the Bitter Lake days. So I wore very short shorts live. And it was comfortable. I felt like I was looking like my heroes, Eugene Robinson and Henry Rollins. So I was like, oh, I'm following in the footsteps of these fucking brave, big-legged men.
Brave Mujahideen.
And so that's just the short. I feel comfortable. Like, it's warm here. I've lived in the Bay for years where you wear pants kind of year round. So now I live somewhere where I can just let the girls loose. So
The girl.
So my butt is looking great. That shit's like a fucking shelf right now, man. You getting two scoops of raisins. You grab those cheeks. So
2 scoops of raisins. Tell me this is not Leo Mandem Tings. Hati. Just, wow. Like, why are your balls girls? That's what I call boobs. I call boobs girls.
No, my legs are the girls. My balls are not showing. But you see me fidgeting right now because the levees are about to break.
We should go.
We've been going for 3 hours and 17 minutes. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Thank you, Cedric and Megan. Thank you, Pascal. To hell with you, Booker T, for taking Pascal away from us.
Right.
Tucson, do you have anything to say before we go? They can make it quick.
There's a new Kanye West diss track that I've been kind of into.
Before we go, can I play the diss song that Ghostface's daughter made?
Okay.
Wait a minute.
Are we going to get copyright for that?
Be entertaining. Oh, we are going to get okay, you know what? We're not.
That's the real champagne.
Champagne room.
Become a patron.
Become a patron.
We'll play both songs.
On that note, we are
out.
Peace.